Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the C3 Friday Free for All. I am your host, as always, Cody Lashney, dealing with some voice issues still. We're going to get it sorted out, but we are here back with another show that is for Panther fans by Panther fans. If you would like to join the show, click the link pinned to the top of the YouTube chat to join via Streamyard, the top of the Facebook chat, and we appreciate each and every single one of you. I want to invite each and every single one of you to subscribe to us on kick.com. C3 Panthers Pod. Kick is a great new streaming platform. We're going to be streaming over there for a bit as well. So if you haven't done so already, follow us on Kick at C3 Panthers Pod, all one word. Let me introduce my boys, the faithful members of the C3 Legion. First up, we have my man, Panther Pickle in the building. Pickle, what's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? Folks, today you need to stand up and be counted. We are Panther fans, right? We are Panther fans. Now, if you're a Falcon fan, a Bucs fan, Saint back, sit your ass back down, bitch. We don't want to help your ass. Saint fans, we know
we do.
You know you're gonna suck. Everybody on earth knows. You know what? Even your damn owner knows you're gonna suck. So do what you traditionally do and go suck. But pull that curtain because we don't see that shit. Down, folks.
Keep pounding. Next up, we got my man, the brand ambassador himself, the one, the only D's, L Skills. D's, what's up, brother? How you, man?
I'm doing great, Cody. Ready to rock and roll another Friday Free for All. Just want to make sure everyone knows that you need to join this show. Be a part of the Friday Free for All. Come give us your takes on these Carolina Panthers. We got the brand new blueprint on Monday. It is the first week of June. For goodness sakes, there's no reason to be negative. There's no reason to feel like we can't win at this point. Right now, you can be high as a kite on these Panthers, just as high as you want to be. And that's how I'm feeling right now after watching the blueprint, watching Dan Morgan, and Brant Tillis together, like I said on my cat call, like peas and carrots together, peas in a pod, if you will. Those guys working together, talking about how they talk. Oh, we talk 50 times a day. We're besties. We're BFFs. All this great stuff. But at least we finally have some synergy within that front office. We've been waiting for years. We lived through the Gettleman. We lived through the Scott Fitterer. We lived through this Tepper making these decisions, putting Matt Rule in charge, giving him so much power. And now it finally feels like we've got some synergy with the front office, with the head coach, with the quarterback, all in lockstep, moving in the same direction. The sky's the limit. It's the first week of June for the Carolina Panthers. For goodness sakes, if you can hear me, click the link in the description. Get in this show. Let's have a discussion about these Carolina Panthers. How are you feeling after watching the blueprint on Monday, Cody? I'm fired up, and I'm ready to roll. Let's have a great show.
Let's roll. You know we appreciate you, brother. Next up, holding it down on the West Coast, we have my man, Alex, A14 Panthers, back in the building. Alex, what's up, brother?
What is going on, Cody? Happy Friday, everybody. Exciting. It's Friday. Weekend's coming up. We got a bunch of Panther talk. We got music videos. We got it all. We got it all here at the C3 Panther podcast here this Friday. So I'm excited to talk with my boys, my C3 fam. So let's get it going.
Yes, sir. Happy to have you, man. Next up, we have a friend of the Free For All, Chooks, back in the building. Chooks, what's up, bro?
How's it going, man? It's been a minute.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I just came back from Kentucky, man. So
nice.
Yeah, so it was cool. I was in Louisville. So
Louisville.
Louisville, yeah. So it was pretty cool.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Honestly, I just came on this show today because I want to hear C-Dog's reaction with XL being in that music video.
Yeah, hey, he'll probably be in here in a little while. Don't worry about it. You know it's golden. A free for all.
That's gonna be
golden. Man. But hey, man, listen. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell for every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live, gentlemen. We have seen the most recent edition of the Panthers blueprint, and I am of the mindset that this is the most well-produced piece of digital content that the Panthers have ever produced. It was so revealing as to the state of the front office of the Carolina Panthers and the process that they implemented in order to make this draft happen. But boys, this is a free-for-all. The question is for y'all, what did you make of the blueprint, and what were some of your biggest takeaways from seeing the front office in action? Boys, it's a free-for-all. Jump on it, damn it.
Can I go first?
Sure thing.
Go ahead.
Two things I just want to say. Did y'all notice that they wasn't really high on Mason Graham, or is it just me?
No,
Yeah, he said Dan said take a tackle.
Yeah.
He said they're going to take a tackle, and like he wasn't sweating it. So yeah, I caught that.
They said Mason Graham. Okay, cool. That was shocking to me that they
No. They didn't say Mason Graham. They said take a tackle. They did not say Mason Graham by name.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying. I do. And
Okay.
shout out to Mason Graham. To be bluntly honest, he ain't looking all that good where he got drafted. But go ahead. It's just OTA, so go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You done, Tukes?
Okay.
Oh, he had to drop out. Hold on.
Okay. My bad.
All right, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. And two, maybe I'm pointing to things. Did you notice that when Tillis showed them the picks, and then they looked at David Pepper, the guy behind sitting on the other row was shaking his head like no. Did you notice that?
I didn't. No.
I
couldn't see the guy.
I'll give you, when I come back on the show, I'll give you the second mark. It looks like someone looked at it and the guy in the back was like, no, we're not going for that.
I really felt that Brandon Tillis wanted to trade. He wanted trades. But
Right.
Dan was like, no, I'm in charge and we're going to do it my way. I really felt that.
Exactly.
I don't think nobody else was in charge of that room but Dan Morgan. And I shout out to David Tepper. He didn't interfere. He just sat back and watched. He did what owners are supposed to do. He's just sat back and watch. If he's asking an opinion, he'll give it. But if he's not asking, he ain't going to give it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it. I thought it's always awesome. I know what was it called? Gosh, I'm drawing a blank. But
Camp Confidential, is that what you're gonna say?
I was talking about on ESPN. They were talking about it. What's his show? McAfee. They were talking about how that's what it is, the McAfee show. So they were talking about that on there and like just how well-oiled machine that it looked back. It was just great video content, and I love like the way it looks. It looks a lot different than a few years back where with Rule, it just kind of looked all out of whack and out of sorts and stuff. So this year it looked very smooth. Like you said, Pickle. I think they wanted to trade, but then Dan Morgan was just like, once they went through the process and the Rams were like, we're out. That's when it's like Dan took over and said, we're taking Tet. I mean, that's where we're going. So
yeah, I believe, and I hope nobody else, I didn't interrupt anybody else, but I believe Dan Morgan was going to get the farm, or he wasn't doing the trade. Period. Anybody would have had to give him an ungodly amount of draft picks in order for you to get that.
I agree, Pickle. I think he was looking for 2 first-round picks. I think he's looking for 2 first-rounders.
I think it was 2 first and a couple and multiple other picks. But yeah, and Dan wasn't bluffing. Dan, I love the command that Dan put in this year. I absolutely love it.
I do too. Yeah, go ahead, Deej.
I was gonna say on what Pickle was saying, it was like he put it out there. It's like he was like, we'll do this, and the Rams countered. They said, well, how about this? And Dan really stood his ground. I mean, he really stood firm and was like, no, we're not doing anything less than what I said. And if you're not going to do that, then the deal's off. And it was just that simple. it's kind of like meet our demands for this number 8 pick. And he stood his ground, and it wasn't wishy-washy, and it wasn't a panic move. We weren't trading up to grab a guy that wasn't ever going to amount to anything like we've seen other GMs do. And I was going to say my favorite part was the analytics guys. I love that part. Like they just it's like talk to the nerds in the back. What's the percentage of this? 41%. What's the percentage for this? 85%. I just thought it was the coolest thing. And that just gives you further insight. And he goes on to explain, Tillis does, that it's risk assessment, which makes it even cooler. Like, this is the risk of doing this. Like, if you don't trade up, there's only a 41% chance they're going to be there. So, 60% chance, you trade up, you get your guy. So, I don't know. I really like that part. And I've watched the Blueprint three times now. And I'm just wondering who in the chat has watched it the most. Put in the chat how many times you've watched Blueprint this week. I've watched it 3. What about y'all?
Hey, look, goddamn, Lost Man. I done watched that shit like 3-4 times, bitch. That shit rock. That shit rock.
What was your Box? What was your biggest takeaway from the Blueprint?
Hey, man. Hey, look, they had goddamn Pat Coltrane and goddamn Rashad on the goddamn. I ain't even know they had them bitch on the goddamn live. They had them bitch on the goddamn. Like, I was like, God damn, you know what I'm saying? But hey, look, Chet McMillan, hey, look. I'm breaking up. Hold on right quick. All
right,
we hold them.
One of my biggest takeaways from the Blueprint was just how masterfully Dan Morgan moved up and down the draft, knowing when to stay put, knowing when to move up for the guys that they wanted, and knowing when to just, chill and take the best player available, like they did with Trevor Etienne.
Right, and I liked how they knew who they wanted. They knew who they wanted, and they were not going to be goated by another team into giving up too much to move up 1 or 2 spots to get who they wanted. They weren't going to do that. If somebody they wanted was taken, fine. They got somebody else on the list they'll go get. And it was a very well organized, thoughtful process, and it was handled by 90% of it was handled by Dan Morgan and Brent Tillis, and the analytics dude that he actually created a website called Summer Sports. And then when he took the job with the Panthers, he had to sell it to somebody else. But his name escapes me now. But he's on Twitter. He's active on Twitter. But shout out to him and his ability. Their cohesion to get what we got in this draft was amazing to me.
Summer Sports was analytics, right, Pickle? Just analytics on football.
Yeah. If you ever been there, Cody?
No, I don't believe so.
It goes in detail. It talks about, for example, how many out routes that T-Mac ran. It talks about his hook routes, curl routes. It's extremely detailed on things like that. I'll pin it to the chat.
Okay, nice. Locks, man, you back? Locks, man.
Oh yeah, I'm back. I'm good.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm back. So what's up?
Yeah, man. What was your biggest takeaways from the Panthers Blueprint?
I think Chet McMillan, I think he's gonna be the dude he says he's gonna be. And as far as Excel, everybody that is out on Excel, I think Excel, he's gonna have a big season this year. I think Excel, he's gonna. Hey, look, I don't know if what's his name, C-Dog. I don't know if he's on the line right now, but I think Excel. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I think he's gonna be improved. I think he's gonna be improved. But I'm gonna let you go ahead and code dog. I'm gonna let you go ahead and goddamn say what you got to say, and I'm gonna listen.
Yeah.
I'm sitting back right now.
Yeah, man, I feel you, bro. Like one of the things that I felt was really, really telling was how much they loved both Princely Human Millen and Nick Scorton. They had such a high evaluation on both of them, and the fact that they got T-Mac, Scorton, and Human Millen, like he literally said that they didn't have any scenario where they landed the three of those people. And the fact that they were able to land all of them, it shows me that Dan Morgan has now, in my opinion, especially if this is a good draft, he has already moved himself into contention for best Panthers GM ever. Like, am I off track for saying that? Like, every single offseason, he checks every single box of filling out the roster in the way that we need to. Am I being too much of a fan, or am I too early? How do y'all feel about that?
Well, the players got to keep up their part, Cody. You know, I mean, Dan can only line them up and pick them or pay them and bring them in, whatever it might be. But the players got to live up to it. Like Wharton's a good example. A lot of people say that throughout the league that we overpaid him to come here, but that may not necessarily be true. He may be worth every penny of that for the Panthers, especially if they move into the outside some and he's on the inside some and you don't really know where he's coming from, and he's highly productive for us. I mean, that guy gets over 10 sacks. Nobody's going to be talking about we overpaid him to come and play as far as a free agent. And then the draft, you know, we just need our guys to develop and come in and produce. And if they do that, then, you know, I think everybody was really happy with what we saw from Coker last year being a UDFA. I mean, he set the record for most yards in Panthers history for a UDFA rookie. I mean, that's tough to beat, right? The season by Chuba Hubbard was fantastic. Running behind that rebuilt offensive line by Dan Morgan. I mean, there's some things that have already proven themselves and some things that still need to come to fruition. So, it's going to depend on what T-Mac does, on how Bryce plays, on how this defense looks, and it doesn't produce and doesn't get wins for the Panthers to call them the best. You know, it's probably going to take a couple years to really know that for sure, because we need to see how these players develop. But there's some things that we can already say, yeah, he's well on his way to proving that, Cody. I have to say that's not completely crazy in my book. What do you think?
Yeah.
I was gonna say the same thing. It's not crazy, but it's still a little early because we haven't seen the productivity yet. So it's kind of like, yes, that we're starting to see it. I like who he drafted last year. I want to see how this draft class goes, and kind of go from there. Because to me, the key when it comes to the Carolina Panthers franchise, it's gonna be drafting well. It is very, very difficult, and I'm sure you guys know year in and year out, we don't really necessarily get the best free agents to come to Carolina. It's not because they don't want to come. It's just not really a free agency destination. So how we are going to have to build is through the draft. And like possibly you might be able to get a couple of free agents to come here, but either it's going to be trade or the draft. So I want to see how these draft class work. And then obviously I want to see production too. I mean, we haven't been in the playoffs yet, and it's been a while. So I just kind of want to see those steps first before I just claim Dan Morgan's our best front office, our GM.
Yeah, I know one of my favorite GMs to listen to was always Dave Gettleman. Now, he definitely had some bum picks. No one will ever dispute that. But listening to him on the microphone was always really revealing, because he was always very forthright about his process and what he would do. And I feel like Dan is, believe it or not, the best of both worlds. He's not too forthcoming with information, but at the same time, he does a good job of explaining why they decided to do things and when they decided to do them. I also feel like this season he stepped up the smokescreen game. The fact that they were able to, kind of lead everyone to believe that Jalen Walker was going to be the pick. I know most of us felt that he was going to be the pick. And then to grab Tataroa, my man is adding some new tricks up his sleeve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's proven that when you don't really know what Dan's going to draft, even next year, we really won't know. We can all have our little fan opinions and say what he's going to do, but you don't really know what he's going to do. And that's a pleasure to see. It really is. Yeah, rare species. I agree with you. He reminds me a lot of Bill Polian. And listen, I listened to Bill Polian after the draft, and he was outright amazed with Dan Morgan. He said, "I've talked with Dan." He said, "We have an upcoming dinner date, and I am extremely excited to sit down and pick that man's brain." And that came from Bill Polian, the Hall of Famer Bill Polian. And that would have been I'd have loved to have been a setting at that table. Just not say a word, just not eat, just listen. I would have loved to have done that, but it is what it is. I do believe that, and I want to shout out Sideshow. You said that Canales is a better at developing than EJ Evero. I
Great
think you're
comment.
right. Yeah, it is. I think you're right, but I'm trying real hard to be fair. So don't take me as an EJ defender, because D's knows I'm not. But I'm trying real hard to be fair to Evero. I think this is his year. I think he, in order for him to have a bright future in the NFL, or maybe a future in the NFL, he has to turn stuff around this year. And I think he got his guys, and I think we're going to see. But he definitely has to turn things around this year in order for him to have a future in the NFL.
And it's just how far, right? Because turning around from worst ever, that's not much of a turnaround. You know what I mean? If we're still 32nd in the league. I mean,
if we win 5 games next year and the defense played way below average, that's not good enough. I understand. Go ahead, Deez.
Oh, I was just averaging 495 yards a game or something. We were giving up, whatever it was. Yeah. I mean, turning it around is a vague word when it comes to Avero's task this year. I mean, put in the top 20 is phenomenal, in my opinion. If he does that, he probably is head coach material, considering where we're coming.
Would it be fair to say, if the Panthers were in the top 5 at stopping the run next year, would that be would that be a great key on Evero's marker? Even if we wasn't a good pass rusher, but we were at top 5 at stopping the run, that would be a kudos to his department.
No, that would be insane.
Almost double our win total on maybe that stat alone, to be honest, because how many games did not stopping the run lose us? But quite a few. We were letting teams convert on 3rd and 17 on the ground. It was just nuts what we were out there doing. So, yeah, they've got to do that first and foremost.
And I heard some guys this week, or last week actually, talk about Evero. They actually talked about the Eagles. They started talking about the Eagles defense, and he named several defenses who have followed in that realm. That guy, he named Evero, and he says those defenses are extremely complicated. They're complex to learn. They're not the old-fashioned defense where you tell your defensive line, see quarterback, see ball, hit anybody who has a ball. You tell your linebackers just to cover who they can cover. And that's not a complicated defense. When you go to your zones and your, for example, a defensive guy in our defense has to go from a pass rush set to a cover 3 to a cover 4, maybe to a cover 6. They have to know all that explicitly. They have to know gap assignments. They've got to know if the running it to the right, everybody's in this gap. If you're going to run it to the left, this guy has to move over here and this guy has to drop down. It's so complicated that a lot of your rookies or vets don't want to play in it because it's just that complicated.
Yeah, it was crazy, that 4-minute video that the Panthers put out yesterday of Princely and Nick Scorton working in the hotel room during OTAs. Like, they lined up the chairs, and they're going off of how the formation is. The formation tells them what their job is and what they're supposed to do. And that was something I didn't really realize from Avero's scheme. I realized from watching that short video just how complex this system is, because they're taking cues off of where the offense lines up, which is crazy. Shout out to the Bat Daddy, 8 wins next year. 8-9 wild card. Let's go, Bat Daddy.
That's great. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I watched that video, and this is after hearing the folk on ESPN or on XM Radio NFL 88 talk. And it was like amazing to me. And it was like, okay, wow, is it that? Okay, if it's that complicated, you need some really smart guys to handle that. Then I thought about who we had on this roster the last 2 years. I'm thinking, yeah, that ain't gonna work. No wonder we sucked. Okay, now that explained a great deal. It really did to me.
Yeah.
You got to be smart and flexible on the field, like
Yes.
able to do multiple things. Like you said, you're not going to like. I think Hassan Reddick would be a great example of a guy that probably wouldn't fit in the Avero scheme, right? Because you've talked a lot, Pickle, before about Hassan just going out after the quarterback, despite what the defensive scheme said to do, and that would be extremely bad in this Avero system. You know what I mean? Or a guy that gives up on the backside if that's not their assignment. You know, stuff like that we've seen in film from years past, and it's a telltale sign to why these Avero defenses haven't worked out. But some things have worked out. Derek Brown broke the record for tackles by a defensive lineman for the NFL, went to the Pro Bowl. J.C. Horn, unfortunately, only one interception, but still garnered the respect of all his peers in the NFL, made the Pro Bowl, both in the time that Avero has been here. So those two things we can speak to and say, hey, these are bright spots for the Carolina Panthers defense, but we've got to put things together on the field, and it starts with, like you said, Pickle, stopping that run first and foremost, and then we'll worry about getting some pressure.
Absolutely. Also at the secondary, you take a lot of people are saying we have to have recovering safety versus ransom or in box safety, and I think we all need to stop and evaluate the safety that we signed in free agency. It's not just a run stopping safety. I think that in Avero's system, what he wants, he's finally going to get. He's going to have the ability that in particular defense, he can take the free safety and drop him in the box. He can take the strong safety and put him in coverage, or vice versa at any format. So the opposing offense isn't going to know who the deep safety is. He isn't going to know which safety is going to cover the tight end, because they both could cover this guy. He isn't going to know who's going to drop or who's going to be in zone concept. Is the offenses are going to be so confused by certain things where they can't say, this is the guy, this guy's going to do this, and this guy's going to do that. You know, they're trying to build a defense that Luke Kuechly would be proud of.
One thing I know for sure is we ran the cover 3 more than any other team last year in the NFL. We were in it more than anybody else. And I don't know if that was a product of not trusting the guys back there, or maybe it was a product of really trusting the guys back there to play decent coverage and only needing 3 deep down the field. So that's a question I'd like to have answered. But with us talking about the blueprint, you know, I think fans should be a little bit excited about what we saw from Tepper in the blueprint. He kind of laid back and waited for them to ask him questions, and then he would respond rather than interjecting himself into the conversation. One time he did interject himself, and it's funny, and we're talking about it now. He said, well, what did EJ feel about it? You remember that when he was asking about one of the defensive selections or the defensive picks, and then it goes to a cut screen of him talking about how much he liked Nick Scorton and that flexibility. And when we saw a guy like last year, Ed Harris, who we picked up off the street to come play for us, putting him in coverage on a wide receiver on the outside was just really hideous to watch. He's just not. He's not built for it. But a guy like Nick Scorton, you can see it, and it's a possibility. Here's a guy that can go up and wait and really make a difference in stopping the run, or a guy that can slim down and be faster, leaner, and quicker in coverage and play those roles and cover those flats in the Avero scheme. So I like what Tepper did a lot in the blueprint. It made me feel better about the organization as well. Like I said, man, I'm just on a high right now. So many good things we saw from this Panthers blueprint.
You know, one thing I loved, you know, I watched a video today actually of Nick Scorton and Prince Amalia lining up them chairs in that hotel, and you know, I was thinking, when did they do this? And I love the fact that they so love to want to get out on that field, and they did this, and they did that. I thought, well, God, they got so much fire that you missed that seeing that. Then I thought, okay, and then you hear Dave Canales on the blueprint right after the draft said, I'm ready to go practice, y'all. Let's go. I'm ready to practice right now. I mean, hell yeah, I'm ready to do that myself.
Yeah. No, I love it. There's a great energy amongst the team. This blueprint's been very revealing. Like I said, to me, it was the best single piece of Panthers content that they put out yet. Kudos to the digital marketing team that, and all the work that they did on this. It was incredible, man. Very well done. Let me welcome Cardiac Cat 13 to the Friday Free For All. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How are y'all fellas?
Doing good, doing good. What were your takeaways from the Panthers blueprint?
Man, I thought it was great. Like, really, but I thought the best part was we all agreed with everything before it came out. I mean, with like Nick Scouch Princely and, how
Yeah.
it all unfolded, getting Trevor in the fourth. I mean, those were all awesome picks. I expect a lot from this team this year. I'm not going in thinking, 6 or 7 wins. I think we got
Yeah.
enough talent. Like we put enough on the defense. We were able to do what we did last year with the NFL's worst defense ever.
Yes. Yes.
I'm looking at maybe at least a top 20 defense this year. So,
Okay.
I'm thinking like 9-10 wins, and we got a shot at the division.
Yeah. So let me ask you all this. We were talking about, upgrading the defense and making sure it's better than last year. We talked about Ejiro Vero and what does he have to do to prove himself in this defense. Well, in the same vein, PFF, they put out their top 10 corners in the NFL. And there was a pretty conspicuous absence to that list. One, J.C. Horn. And J.C. Horn kind of took umbrage with this. He says this is what happens when you let nerds who never touch a field in their life feel like they know football. He would later go on to delete that post. But PFF has him ranked as only the 25th best corner according to PFF. Now, last Tuesday, Tony and CK both said that they sort of understood the fact that he's been injured and the fact that he hasn't had as much playing time. There was sort of an understanding. But to me, when you look at the most recent couple of seasons, I think J.C. Horn has proven he can go toe-to-toe with the best. Even if he's not top 10, there is no way in hell that he's the 25th. Boys, how y'all feel about this?
Let me clarify.
Pickle and Alex.
Okay, I'm going to agree with CK and Tony. It's not disrespectful to JC. Just bottom line is to be, and I do think he's excellent. I really do think he could go toe to toe with any wide receiver. Period. But at the same time, I'm a Panther fan. I'm very biased, and I own up to that. But at the same time, to be the best, you got to be on the field. And when you're not, and they're not talking about just last year. They're talking about overall in their career. And J.C. Horn's missed more than he showed up. And he's on a very weak defense. So, to be honest with you, if I was the offensive coordinator last year and I was facing the Panthers, I would figure out on a regular basis to get I wouldn't put my best receiver on J.C. Horn. Because as it was last year, if I put my best receiver on the number 2 corner, Evero wasn't going to move JC over that way.
Right.
So I know my best receiver. If I put my best receiver in slot, I knew I was going to kill the Panthers because Evero wasn't going to stop me. And it's no disrespect to JC, but to be listed in the top 10, you have to show up on the field on a consistent, regular basis. You can't miss. I mean, He's been in the league, 4 years, 5 years? And he's played in how many seasons? Close to 4 seasons. One? I mean, that's my story. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, no, I wanted to say there's parts of it that I agree with you, Pickle, and then there's some like that I'm like, okay, like we got to look at like some of the outline, like some of the things like the X's and O's and stuff like that. Like where there was times I thought J.C. Horn was locking up there, he was locking up on his end. Mike Jackson was locking up on that end, but then the quarterback back there had all day to throw, and at some point your corner's gonna just not be able to cover. It's just like plain and simple. So like to me last year, and that has a lot to do with Evero's scheme. There was players on our team that weren't probably wouldn't necessarily be starters on other teams. We were very hurt on that side of the football. So all of that, and then also the injuries, I do agree with you there, but they do have Jair Alexander on that list, and he's missed a lot of games as well. So it's kind of like that's where it's like, it's pick and choose from there. Because I know Jair, the last 2 seasons, he's only played 14 games. So I mean,
I agree with you, Alex. I agree with you on a lot of things, like the pass rush affects the corners. I 100% agree, or the lack thereof. But at the same time, in these rankings that we're looking at right now on this screen, you cannot include pass rush or the Panthers' lack thereof and say, well, JC should be higher because Carolina didn't have a good pass rush. You can't do that, because you could say you could say Denzel Ward didn't really have a good offense period with him, and he was on the field way too much, so he shouldn't be on the list at all. You could say that. You could say DJ Reader was beat like a drum by the Carolina last year when we played them, so he shouldn't be on the list.
Right.
But that was in preseason. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a lot of what I want to call excuses, but I don't want to call them excuses because I can't think of a better word for it. But I would like for JC to be higher. And like I said, if I was making the list myself, I would put him in there because I'm a Panther fan and I'm biased toward my guys.
Yeah. I'm just saying that, and on this list, I'm glad you brought it back, Cody, because Jair Alexander, that's the one guy that I see on there that I'm like, okay, he's played 34 games in 4 years. JC Horn's played 37. So, I mean, if we are talking about injuries, that's going to be someone right there that I'm like, well, you can argue that.
Right, but at the same time, Jair Alexander is playing for the Green Bay Packers.
So what are we talking about? We talking about cornerbacks? Is that what we talking about?
Yeah, it's JC Horn, a top 10 corner. PFF has him
Horn?
rated number 25.
Yeah, them last 15 guys on that list, they ain't better than JC.
I'm not infatuated with none of these quarterbacks we got. I like JC Horn, but Mike Jackson, I'm not sure about Mike Jackson or that dude Smith Wade. I'm not sure about him. If we can get a cornerback, that's who I'm looking at. I'm not looking at no. Look, all these dudes y'all talking about, man. I'm not looking at these dudes, man. You got to get a certified cornerback. If you can get Asante Samuel Jr. or James Bradbury, you bring them in.
Bro,
because
Bradbury's been done for a minute.
He been getting cooking.
Is that dude even still playing? Is he still playing? I don't even know.
I don't know.
He's still playing.
I mean,
he's just a body.
Last couple of years.
Yeah, but Locks, the question was, do you believe that JC Horn is a top 10 corner in the NFL? So are all those names on that list better than JC?
Oh nah. I think JC Horn, he's the number 1 corner. But I'm not sold on Mike Jackson, man. Like, I'm not sold on him, man. Like,
we're talking about in the NFL in general, not just on the Panthers, but like every other corner in all the NFL. Is J.C. Horn in the top 10?
Oh yeah. He is. Yeah, he is.
I don't think this would be even a discussion if he was allowed to follow the best wide receiver, which he's not allowed to do.
Right.
Yeah, that's not. By the way, welcome
agree with that, Jake. I agree with that.
welcome to Jake the Snake back on the free for all, brother. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Just got done grilling. I still haven't even made my plate yet, but I had to get in here.
I hear you, brother. Yeah, man. Tell me some of your thoughts about one. J.C. Horn, is he a top 10 corner in the NFL? And also, what were your thoughts on the blueprint?
On the thoughts on J.C. Horn, anyways, I do believe he's a top 10 cornerback. I know that he hasn't been healthy all his career, and I know that he don't have the interception numbers that a lot of people love, but I still, to this day, I don't think he's in a system that would be best for him. But, I mean, he's got to make do with what he can make do with the system. And, like I said, if he was able to shadow the best wide receiver, I don't even think this would be a discussion. I truly believe that he would be in top 10, and I would even go as far as I don't even think he would be the latter top 10. I think he'd be higher up. But the Panther blueprint, I absolutely loved it. Dan Morgan is the man. We finally got a guy who's in charge, man.
Yes, sir.
That also is not bullheaded though. You know, he accepts opinions. You know, he'll listen to it, talk about it. But ultimately, it's his decision, and I absolutely love that. And all the draft prospects that we drafted, I still think we have an unbelievable draft. We just gotta wait and see them. We gotta wait to see what they do on the field. But I'm still looking forward to the season. I think we're going to get at least anywhere from 8, 9, 10 wins. I think that's where we're going to be around the ballpark. I don't think we're going to be lower half. But, yeah, I'm excited.
To me, there's no reason why this Panthers team couldn't be a wild card team.
I agree with that.
Absolutely. Cody, if you will, highlight Jamie Harrison's post in the chat. It really stands out. It's exactly what Jake was talking about. Because you know, we did play a lot of man coverage, and you have to ask yourself, of these corners on this list, did they play? We played too much zone coverage.
Zone, yeah,
we played zone because, you know, in zone cut because we couldn't stop the run. We didn't have any pass rush. Scheme wise, zone was the best thing we could play last year. And did it hurt JC's ability to show how good he is a man? Absolutely. How much of these guys were able to play man and zone? We couldn't do that last year. So, you know, it's just a PFF list. I can't criticize the list too much, the cornerback rankings, and then go look and see that they had my man Cade Mays extremely high in the center list.
That they did.
And then be happy about it. That's talking out both sides of your ass. And I know my ass is pretty big, y'all, but I can't do that. So
no,
you know,
you're absolutely right, Pickle. You're like absolutely right.
I can't. I have to understand their list on corners so I can accept their list on centers.
Yeah, no, I mean the corner list, like for what it's worth, that's correct. I mean, like J.C. Horn shouldn't even have to worry about it because he got his bag. They paid him. Right. So it's right. We know, and so does Dan Morgan and the organization. They know he's a great corner. It's just he's not like what Jake was saying, and you guys, he's not in the right scheme. He's kind of just they played zone. He's not following their best receiver. We're not getting pressure last year. I mean, we were 32nd in the league defensively. So I mean, it's like,
you know, Alex, y'all remember that little guy named Steve Smith that they said was too little to play football?
Yep.
Of course.
I want J.C. Horn to get that fire. I want J.C. Horn to look at that list. If I'm a coach, I'm going to print that list out, and I'm going to put it right smack dab on J.C. Horn's locker. I'm going to put it when J.C. Horn goes to the shower. He's going to see that. When he goes out to the practice squad field, he's going to see that taped on a sign out there. Why? I want to see him put that fire of what he put on Twitter out on that field. I want to see him go out there and humiliate every wide receiver he faces. You literally humiliate them. I want to hear them say, you disrespected me. And I want to see him go on national TV and says, yeah, you're damn right I disrespected you because you trash and you shouldn't be in the league.
I'm just wondering if Ejiro Evero and his scheme will ultimately limit the way the NFL sees a player like J.C. Horn, just because he isn't necessarily allowed to travel like these other corners do. However, whoever he is on, he was shut down last year. So,
and to be honest with you,
That,
Evero has done
that
that.
was going
He
to be
did
my
that in
point,
Denver as
Cody.
well.
yeah.
We were talking about the scheme thing. With the scheme that we were running last year, he shut down one side of the field instead of shutting down their best player. So
Right.
you could shift your reinforcements to the other side of the field because JC had his side shut down.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And-
what.
And we weren't getting any pressure, so you got to cover for 25 seconds before
Exactly.
they throw the ball.
To me, that's why a lot of people really disrespect Mike Jack's play, because Mike Jack was getting, and sometimes he was getting the offense's best receiver, because Evero wasn't going to swap him around, and Mike Jack just had to have who he's had. I mean, you go through the history of the Panthers, y'all. Let's say this way: Tillman was great, but when he got hurt, how many times do you think we would have made the Super Bowl if Sean McDermott didn't take Josh Norman and move him around to the best receiver? Do you think we would have won the Super Bowl? No, we would not have.
No.
Absolutely not.
That's a great point, Pickle, because everybody was very high on Josh Norman after that season, but he also didn't move around a lot. But he was good where he was.
Mm-hmm.
And then Washington sort of had to find. Yeah, Washington sort of.
He wasn't great anymore.
Yeah, Washington sort of had to find out the hard way that he wasn't as versatile as maybe they wanted him to be. Go ahead, Jake.
I had a question in my head. I was trying to answer myself. I know there was a question on X about if JC follow or even play both sides of the field. And I'm like, I ultimately, absolutely, I believe JC can play both sides of the field. I don't think he has, and if he has played both sides of the field since he's been with us, I haven't seen it or it happened. I just didn't pay attention to it. But I don't think it's he can only play one side of the field situation. I truly believe it's on a coaching scheme situation, the reason why he ain't on the other side of the field. And he's only just on one side.
I think it's going to look a lot different this year because now, look at our front seven this year versus our front seven last year.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
We can't be worse.
All those years we had great defenses. We were always piecing together the secondary every year, but we had an amazing front seven.
And Dan, when it's brought up, and it's rarely brought up, but when it's brought up, they'll say that Evero knows there's things he has to change in his system. And maybe Evero will look at that and change. But, and that mention to what Jake said, I think he could play both sides, but I think his injuries have prevented him from proving he can play both sides.
Yeah.
It has, because one year they were going to put him at nickel because he was going to be their best nickel. He couldn't stay healthy long enough to show him that.
Yeah.
This is fact of it. It may not be fair in life, but
Right.
It is what it is.
Hey,
And
so let's go ahead, Jake.
No, and it could possibly be. Maybe he can't play both sides. As much as I am a JC Horn supporter, I thought Taylor Moat could play anywhere on the offensive line, y'all. I thought that man could play center, left guard, left tackle, right tackle. He could play anything because I truly believe, still to this day, I think Taylor Moat is just that guy. And hopefully he ends up retiring with us. But we found out real quick that it didn't really work out so well when he was a left tackle, did it?
Right.
Not really.
Nope, not really.
And it didn't work out well when Evero put William Fuller on CeeDee Lamb 101 in the red zone. That didn't work out either. And that's what I was saying about J.C. Horn making the Pro Bowl with only one interception. We've been devoid of turnovers for years now and devoid of sacks for years. It's been a real struggle point for this defense. And like you were saying, Cardiac, with the front seven having more pass rush, that'll create more opportunities for interceptions. They go hand in hand. They really do. And, it's up to Evero to put the players on the defense in position to make plays so that they can shine. the players can only do so much. They just go out there and they execute what the defensive coordinator is asking them to do. And if the defensive coordinator is asking Fuller to guard CeeDee Lamb in the red zone 101, well, he tried, but it didn't work out, did it? CeeDee caught that ball for a touchdown on the Panthers. So that's what I'm saying. We've got to get JC in position to make plays, and that goes hand in hand with moving him across the field like y'all were talking about. We can't say, JC Horn, that we believe in you. We're going to make you the highest paid cornerback in the league, even though it was only for a few days. But we can't say that as a franchise, but then turn around and say, but we can't move you across the field because we don't know if you can play on the other side. We should firmly believe that he is one of the top cornerbacks in the league, and he can do anything that our defensive coordinator asked him to do. And the things that he asked him to do should put him in position to make plays and make turnovers and change games. And that's what I want to see from Horn this year.
Yes, sir. So listen, let's move from one side of the ball to another side of the ball because we have something of a center battle on our hands. Right? Cade Mays has been running with the first team in OTAs, yet Austin Corbett is hot on his heels, but he's been injured a bunch. And you have Brady Christensen looming in the shadows. Gentlemen, my question to you is, who is your odds-on favorite to be the starting center for the Carolina Panthers this year? And this is going to lead into another question as well, but we'll start there, and we'll start with Alex. Alex, who do you think ends up being the center for the Carolina Panthers this year?
Yeah, it's Cody, it's funny because after the season was over, I think we talked about it a little bit when we re-signed Austin Corbett. And I think a lot of you guys were saying, with May's season, how well he did, that he was going to be the starter. And I was big on like, man, I want Corbett to be the starter. I want Corbett to be back in there. I know he's been hurt, but I think he would be our best bet. But now I'm flip-flopping and I'm like, man, Cade May, like looking at his stats and what he did and how he stepped in and how the offensive line still looked really, really like our strong point for the season, even when Austin was out. So, I mean, man, it's tough. When you have a situation like this, that's a good situation to have. So, I mean, I'm probably going to say May. I mean, it looks like that's who they're starting off with in OTAs. So I'm just going to go with that.
All right. Alex says Cade Mays. That's as good as answer of any. Who wants to jump on it next?
I think Cade. Go ahead, Pickle.
No, you go ahead.
I think Cade Mays is our best center on the roster, honestly. I think Cade Mays is our best center, but ultimately I do think Austin Corbett's going to get the nod. The reason why I say that is because I think the rest of the guys on the offensive line, just like the guys, I think they prefer Austin Corbett. I think they look up to him. I think that's more of the leader. But if it was me and I was a coach, I'm putting Mays out there because ultimately I think he's the best starter. He's a guy that we drafted. He's a guy that's relatively still young. I think he's, 26, 27, something like that, somewhere around there. And ultimately, he hasn't had the injuries like Austin Corbett or even Brady Christian's had. So that's another positive. I'd just rather have him starting, in my opinion.
I understand what you're saying, Jake, the previous experience, but I think Dave Canales is different, and I just think he's different. I think the offensive line played their best football last year with Cade Mays at center.
I agree.
They did not play their best football with Austin Corbett at center. Fact is, the experiment with Austin Corbett at center has been a clusterfuck mistake. Now, that being said, if he proves in training camp that he can play center, I think Cade Mays prove he's better. I think there's a chance you could see the Panthers trading Austin Corbett to one of these center needy teams, because in the last week we've had quite a few centers across the league retire. Now, I would prefer not to do that. I would prefer just tell Austin Corbett that you're a backup. You're an interior backup. If you don't like that, we want you to tell us now so we can make arrangements to get you off the team. It was respectful. But I don't think Austin's like that. I think he'll take the backup role and just be supportive as a backup as he can be. But I think Cade Mays is going to be the starting center week one unless it's an injury related. And if it's an injury to Cade Mays, we're screwed because I don't think Austin Corbett's a real center. I do not think that he is. I think he'll get injured. He may not make it to preseason or to regular season. I think he's going to get injured this year, regardless if he stays at Panthers.
I hope he does, Pickle.
Hey, look. The same thing Pick said, man. Look, I think Cade Mays, he's gonna goddamn take the throne. I think Austin Corbett, he's gonna be the backup center, the backup guard, because he gets injured all the time. Like he's been injured the last 2 years. Like his knees is messed up. Like his knees is messed up. So I think Cade Mays, and Pickle said that shit now. Cade Mays, he's gonna be the starter now. I bet you that. I bet anybody that Cade Mays will be the starter day one. I bet you that. And that's hey, Code Dog, that's all I gotta say. Cade Mays will be the starter. I bet he will.
Okay.
I
love the confidence.
I want to give Corbett the benefit of the doubt as far as the injuries are concerned. Just because
I hope he stays healthy.
Well, he is. He's going to be training camp for preseason, so it's giving the benefit of that right there.
I'm just saying that these last 2 years were some freak injuries because the 3 years prior to that he played every game. So it's not like
that's nice.
No, I'm just saying like injuries.
I don't mean that disrespectful at all.
I know, but injuries happen. He had a freak injury the last 2 seasons, so it's like it's not like something that where it's like a little ankle here, a little foot there. They were some pretty bad injuries that he had. So
I just hope we keep him and he stays healthy for the simple fact what Pickle just got alluded to a little while ago about hell if we got K Mace ultimately the starter, we can trade off the court, but in order to trade him, he has to stay healthy, and you gotta get to that point.
I can't believe none of y'all's mentioned Brady Christensen at all. I mean, come on, man. This dude is awesome. We drafted him. He's more athletic than either one of the other two guys. He looked good when he stepped in for Corbett, and then he got hurt. And when he came back, they made him the swing backup for every position on the line again.
And got paid dirt. I agree. Look, I've been a big Brady Christensen fan alongside Cody. I mean, me and Cody,
yes,
we fall in love with a lot of offensive linemen.
Yeah, yeah, we did. We've been some OG Christensen fans.
Yeah, we have. And I think he's been done dirty. I mean, I don't think it's his playing that's made him a rotational player, because I truly believe that he could be a starter on damn near any team, really.
Okay,
I'm surprised no one signed him then.
I understand.
I don't know.
I like Brady too, but I'll be real. Last year they were going to start him at center, but they needed him at left tackle because Icky was hurt. So they put him at left tackle. And when they brought Cade back, Cade basically took his job and didn't give it back. And it's no disrespect. I don't think that Brady Christensen has a future in Carolina. They signed him for they offered him the cheapest contract you could ever offer anybody, and Brady took it. That tells me that Brady's agent told him you're not very well liked in the league as far as talent-wise. Now, that's just because the reason why. Now, I could entirely be wrong. It could be a point where Brady just wanted to stay here. But nonetheless, they offered him the cheapest contract you could legally offer an NFL player. And Brady signed.
If it's not Zavala, then Christensen is the heir apparent to Taylor Moton.
Well,
I
understand that. Zavala's never played right tackle. But Brady Christensen, and all the years he's been in Carolina, at least under Dave Canales, he's not one time lined up at right tackle. Not in practice, that's been reported. Not in training camp, not in preseason, not in regular season. And they've had multiple opportunities to do that. Even the dead end of the season, they'll put him in there against active competition to see what would happen. And the other guy's been worse, been by far the worst swing tackle we've had since we had
Josh-
Cam Rivering.
Josh Nyman.
And
Yeah.
Josh Nyman. And so it's not that there's not a reason to put him over there, but I don't think they see him as a right tackle period at all. Personally, I told Cody last year that's what I would do. I would put Brady Christians on the right side, let him get all the experience he can. That way, when they close the door on Taylor Moton, Brady steps right in there. But that's just not how I don't think they see it the way we see it.
So listen, I've said multiple times before, I would have let Christensen play left tackle the year that he was drafted, when everybody was, saying, "Oh, his arms were too short. His arms were too short." Christensen has managed to play 3 different positions at a reasonably high level here in Carolina, and I think he should be commended as such. I have given up on the fact that the Carolina Panthers are ever going to give him a legitimate shot to be a real starter on this team. I think it would have happened already if they were going to do it, as much as I would have loved for them to do it. I think that would have been a great thing. But, this is a good problem that the Panthers have. We have so much good depth on our offensive line that we've never had before. But some of you may have heard that there was an unexpected retirement up in Detroit as Frank Ragnow, the all-pro center for the Detroit Lions, has decided to call it quits. So since we have an abundance of dudes who can play center at a reasonably high level, boys, my question for you, should we trade either Corbett or Brady Christensen or even Cade Mays to the Detroit Lions for picks or for a player? Would you even entertain this?
I have timeout. I'm going first. To the thought process of trading Cade Mays. Shut the hell up. I don't want no more of that. Now, that being said, this is a free for all, and everybody say what they want, but I'm all for trading Brady Christensen or Austin Corbett. But to be real, you're going to be real lucky, I think, in my opinion, to get a conditional 6th-round pick. Go ahead, man. You can.
Yeah.
I think you could get more for Christensen than you could for Corbett, just because Corbett's got to prove he can stay healthy again.
True.
I can see that. I can see that.
But couldn't I also say that Corbett has been instrumental on a team that won a Super Bowl? That's something that Brady Christensen couldn't say.
I haven't looked at their offensive line. Corbett could be a better leader material, even if they have young centers that maybe they want to develop or something, or young offensive linemen. He would be the better. If I'm picking strictly by the leadership, those two, I would consider that. But let's ask ourselves: hasn't Brady been injured almost as much as Corbett?
No, I don't think as
The
much.
year
as
that him
Corbett.
and Corbett both got hurt's the only time I really remember him being hurt.
I'm about to look up his.
Nah.
That
See.
last game of the season.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Lux.
I mean, one thing we need to realize: the Panthers have been down this road before. I'm sorry, Locks, man. Go ahead, man. I don't mean to interrupt you, sir.
Nah. What I was saying is, hey, look, Austin Corbett, he got hurt the last 2 years. He had an ACL, I think an MCL injury. He is like what, like 35, 36 years old. Like, he is not, like, I think to better this team, I think he is better off as the backup to Cade Mays. I think Cade Mays is the one that I think Cade Mays is the one. I think you put Cade Mays out there, and I think him and Bryce Young, I think them dudes will, make some noise. know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let pick. Hey, look, pick. Go. Hey,
Yeah.
look. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying. Let's be real. We know Austin Corbett has a history of injuries. We all agree to that, all right? And I'm real high on Cade Mays, but I'm a Tennessee fan and I'm biased, and I own up to that. I might be wrong here. I don't think I am, but something happens and we need a backup center. Can we trust Austin Corbett to stay healthy to perform that job?
I would trust Brady over Austin being healthy. I'll be honest with you.
So then maybe we should maybe regardless. And let's be real. If you trade Brady Christensen, who's your backup? Cody, my man, tell me. Or Diesel Skills, somebody tell me who your backup left tackle is.
Me?
Oh shit!
Who's your backup left tackle?
I believe in you, Jake.
So in my
We ain't got
opinion,
nobody else.
in my opinion, I don't trade nobody. Now let's be real. If the Lions call me up and they say pick, or they say, "Damn, my man, we'll give you a first-round pick for Brady Christensen." Goodbye, see you later, alligator. But they ain't gonna do
Yeah,
that.
man. Diesel Skills. What should the Panthers do in this scenario? And who would you say is the front runner? Like, who would you prefer to be the center on this team?
Definitely Cade Mays for me. He's just got the bigger build. I think the only thing you gain with Corbett maybe being in there is the calling pass pro. Corbett's got more experience calling pass pro than Cade Mays does. But when we drafted Cade, we knew that he was a versatile player and could play multiple roles on the offensive line. So him kind of falling into that need for us at center when we needed him. And, you know, he had to get a couple starts under his belt last season, and then the Panthers offense kind of took off from that point. You know, we struggled early in the year, but once Cade was inserted into the lineup and got a couple starts, you know, we won some games down the stretch. So, I mean, I think Cade's the guy starting out this year, and it's his job to lose. The Austin Corbett, I mean, we brought Austin in as a guard. That's what he was supposed to be. We just assumed that we can move him over to center, and that was going to work out. And with his injuries, it most certainly didn't. And it didn't Shaq Thompson got injured 2 years in a row, and he's not here anymore. It didn't gain any concern from the Carolina Panthers that Shaq Thompson deserved another shot. All of his years of service, he's out the door, but we hung on to Corbett. And the main reason why is because when we asked him to take a pay cut, he took it. So the plan is we're going to pay you backup money because we expect you to be a backup. And for those fans that want him to be the starter at center, that's fine, like whatever player you want. But to me, the road we've been going down with Corbett, if you start him at center, you're just going to end up starting Cade Mays anyway because something's going to go wrong there. It's just 2 years out of a sport that's this intensive on the body. And along with that, that's a new position for him in a lot of ways. The majority of his career has been at guard. I think it's a big ask for Corbett to come in and do that full time. I think he can come in and do it in spots if he needs to. Cade gets a stinger, needs to come out in the game or something. I think Corbett can go in there and be very serviceable for us as a backup right now. But I don't think he's the same player that he was when we brought him in from the Rams. He's just not at this point because of what he's been through with the injuries. And Brady Christensen is another homegrown guy. And I'm going to cheer for the guys that were homegrown first. You know, I want Cade Mays to work out. I want Brady Christensen to be that right tackle or be our swing tackle, be here more long-term, more than just that 1 year contract that he signed. So I'm cheering for those two guys. I still like Corbett, and for all the fans that do like him and are cheering for him to start, that's cool. I mean, he was a good pickup for us a couple years ago, but I'm not 100% sold that he's the same player that he was when we brought him in, Cody.
I think it's going to be a non-issue because the only players that somebody would trade for from us would be Cade Mays or Christensen, and I don't see us trading either one of them because Christensen's our most important backup offensive lineman.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Christensen. I just love having the depth. The Panthers have never had good depth on the offensive line, and now we finally have it. It would have to be one hell of an offer from the Detroit Lions to make me want to come off of any of these dudes right now. especially it being such a pivotal year for Bryce Young and his ability to take a step. There's just no reason to get rid of any of the people who could potentially be protecting him. To me, that's very foolish. It would have to be an incredible offer, and even if they did, I don't know which one it would be for. Maybe
Right.
Corbett, but he's had some injury concerns, so it's hard to know.
I agree with you, Cody. If they made an incredible offer, I honestly would be more willing to surrender Austin Corbett than Brady, because Brady can back up my left tackle, my left guard, and
Right
my
tackle, too.
center
He can play all
if I
too.
needed him. Well, he can back up the whole offensive line if I needed him to. Comparable that Austin Corbett could back up a guard and a center, and I'm still stuck at tackle. If the Lions made an incredible offer, I would be willing to trade Austin Corbett. But personally speaking, I would be just as happy not to trade none of them and keep them all on this roster, because we may need the depth piece, because we've screwed ourselves before. We cut Cade Mays last year, and he happened to be on the Giants practice squad. We got lucky we got him back. I'm not willing to do that again if it's me.
But just real quick, man. What's up, everybody? It's me, Steve.
What's up, man?
But me personally, just not coming in here. Austin Corbett, we can trade him, man. I don't give a fuck what the Lions get. I would take anything for the Lions. You can get the fuck up out of here. My personal opinion, because Cade Mays, when he played last year, he fucking balled out. You can put Brady Christensen that backup center, or Brady Christensen could be out right tackle whenever Taylor Moton leaves. But there's no way I'm letting Cade Mays or Brady Christensen go anywhere. But if they want to trade Austin Corbett, he can get the fuck out of here. He's getting up there in age, and he's always fucking injured. I don't need that. I need somebody who's young and healthy on this offensive line.
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. That's a great point. Does anyone else have anything they want to add on this before we move on to a different topic? Like I said, to me, I would just prefer to protect Bryce Young with as many of these really good players as possible.
we were all happy that they all came back, so I wouldn't let anybody go.
Yeah.
Hey, Cody. I'm sorry.
But if we're going Locks and then C-Dog, go ahead, Locks.
So, Code Dog, who do you think is the best option at center? Cade Mays or Austin Corbett?
Yeah, for me, right now I would probably say Cade Mays, just because I think that he's probably better suited to play the position. And some of y'all forget, man, before Cade Mays went to Georgia and then transferred to Tennessee, he was a 5-star prospect. He's always been a very highly touted player. And to see a young player finally get his opportunity, dude, that's awesome to me.
Hang on, Cody.
Oh, by the way, bro, hold on. Hold on 1 sec. Thank you to Just Don't Care for the 5 C3 Panthers podcast memberships. Bro, we appreciate you, man. That is awesome.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just going to shout out to Just Don't Care. Just Don't Care cares a lot.
He definitely does. Definitely.
Hey, real quick, Cody.
Go ahead, man.
I was going to ask y'all. I see the thumbnail. That's what really made me want to call in, because of the thumbnail. That's what it was. But
yeah.
Real quick, have y'all talked about it yet? Because I just got off of work.
No, yeah. I'm about to pull it up right now, bro.
Okay, because I am about to go on a fucking rant. Look, man. Just go ahead and pull it up when you get.
Yeah, so let me set it up.
Oh my god.
Maybe we could trade Austin Corbett for their backup safety.
Now you're thinking. It's not a bad idea. And I was kind of digging too, and it looks like Corbett has been more injured than Brady has with their time with the Panthers, because Corbett's had 3 major injuries where Brady only had 2, and Corbett missed way more time than Brady did. Just to kind of wrap that up.
Yeah, man.
Brady is younger.
And
Corbett is 30 years old.
We can circle back to it. But listen, one of my questions for y'all today is, what type of wide receiver are you expecting Xavier Legette to be in 2025? Now, we've been talking about this, him going to the Kentucky Derby, him filming hunting sessions. But now, someone said in the chat, my man is now a video vixen. Homie is in Glorilla in her newest song that she put out, Typa. And my man's out here, man. My man is mainstream without doing too much. Now, like I said before, I personally don't mind this, but bro, if he drops more passes this season, if he continues to fuck up, this is gonna be a bad look for my man. I'm gonna let y'all jump in on it.
Right there, Cody.
Can I please go first?
Go ahead, C-Dog. Go ahead, bro.
Real quick, man. Let me tell you something. When I saw this, I was already mad. I was already, I was letting this motherfucker, I was letting shit slide. Everybody was like, see all this, see all that he young and all this bullshit. But then this shit right here come out. Look, man. This motherfucker, I have not seen a motherfucker ever be at the Kentucky Derby, be in music videos and all this shit, and got that didn't fucking perform. Now, real quick, I remember when goddamn Michael Vick was then got them videos and shit, but Michael Vick was fucking balling. Like, I'm like, what the fuck, man? I'm tired of seeing this motherfucker everywhere but the motherfucking football field catching goddamn balls, man. I'm for real, man. You know what I'm saying? Now, what's gonna be our fucking excuse this time? For him being in a goddamn video. What the fuck has he done, man? I'm trying to tell y'all, man, this motherfucker ain't done shit for all this shit he got them been doing this goddamn off season. He got that win rookie of the goddamn, he went offensive rookie of the year. He wasn't even the best fucking rookie receiver on the goddamn team. Like, what has he done?
I want to go next.
He's doing too fucking much, man. He's doing too much, man. That's my
But
opinion,
what I want to know,
He ain't in that video
what I want to
because
know,
he's a football player, man. He's in that video because he's hung like one of them racehorses that he went to see.
what I want to ask, bro, no, what I want to know is why, or how did he even end up in this video? Did she reach out to him, or did, is he just a super fan? Like,
She's a country girl.
Yeah, I want to know how this even comes about, bro. That's all I want to know. Locks, man, what you got to say about this, bro?
Hey, look, Gorilla, you know what I'm saying? Everybody fuck with Gorilla, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah,
apparently everybody.
Yeah, everybody fuck with Gorilla, you know what I'm saying? So he trying to get in where he fit in, bro. He trying to get in where he fit in, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't mad at him. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't mad at him.
Y'all tripping, man. Y'all tripping.
All right.
But Cam Newton went to the Kentucky Derby. He took it to the fucking Super Bowl, man. He ain't did shit.
All right,
What has he done?
All right, I'm tired of waiting. I'm going to interrupt because I want to talk. All right, I don't know who Gorilla is. I don't listen to that music. I just don't. All right, I'm old-fashioned country guy. I don't care if he was singing with. I don't care if he was singing with him or her. I don't care who he was singing with. I don't care if he was. I don't care about that. But I'm gonna agree with. I defended him last week. I'm gonna agree with C-Dog. Get your ass on the field. You're not a superstar. You're a wannabe superstar. Just because you talk a little slang, everybody loves you. You're a wannabe superstar. Xavier Legette, get your ass on the field and give somebody something to cheer about other than drop passes.
Bro, somebody said be mad at him for dropping balls, and he dropped 2 balls in Glorilla.
I had a comment like that, but I wasn't gonna say it. Was not gonna say it.
Bro, you know what? I don't know nothing about this Gorilla. So if somebody takes offense to it, so be it. So let me just tell you this. From my advantage and what I'm seeing, it appears like he ain't the only one that does that on a regular basis.
Hey, I I gotta say it. Hey, even if he don't catch them balls, he got somebody now that will catch his.
I think Excel's going to be in the
hold
shit
on.
this
Hold on,
year.
let me.
Focus,
Hey,
man.
hold on, time out. Let me welcome in from Black Cat Panther Podcast, my man, popping bullets just in time, bro. You here for the spiciest topic, bro?
Yeah. That's why I tapped in. What up, Cody? Man,
What up, bro?
hey, listen, Cody. What's
Yeah,
happening with
man.
y'all? What's up to
What's up,
C3
brother,
everybody
man?
else? I'm
What
tired
up?
of y'all. Y'all acting like y'all 19, 20 years old, 21 years old, because 15 years ago, you wasn't on the internet. You did not know
Right.
who was going out there training. So now, hold on. Now y'all acting all sedity and all catty because you can see inside what they allow you to see in their world, and you don't know if the person we never questioned was Aaron Rodgers when he went to the Super Bowl, was he preparing? Because you never knew. You wasn't on the internet. You didn't have access. So now to the media, it takes the media to go out here and shoot what these guys are doing. What they allow you to see in their life is really up to them. Stop questioning these guys. And a matter of fact, another point. I seen a quarterback drafted at number 1 who's never in the media lose his girlfriend and then perform. And y'all all on Xavier Legette's nuts. Mix me with that, man.
Yeah,
It was
right.
Excel's going to be in the shit this year.
You
Wait,
talking
wait,
about a whole bunch
see.
of bullshit. But you
One at a
now,
time, one
now,
at a
whoa,
time.
whoa, whoa,
That's
One
not
at a time.
it. What has he
wait a minute.
done? Popping bullets. What has he done to be out here doing
Whoa,
all
whoa,
this?
whoa, wait a minute.
No, what has he
Let
done
him
to be out here
answer.
doing all
Hey,
this
Cody,
bullshit? Bullets? What
let me
has
ask
he
you this:
done?
where was
Goddamn
everybody
thing.
at? Where was everybody at when Devontae Adams didn't have a good rookie year? Oh, was y'all looking for him in on social media his second
But
year?
Poppin',
No,
but he
because
wasn't
guess
in
what?
the.
Because y'all was.
Look, your boy's already losing his voice. Y'all got to help me out, bro. The only thing I would say to that, Pop, is that he has never Xavier or all those players you just mentioned, bro. They were not in music videos after 1 year.
Tell me
Don't
again,
hate
Cody.
the
Oh, so you
player.
hate the
Devontae
player?
Hate the
Adams just not
game.
getting
Hate the
fucking
game,
commercials,
don't hate the
nigga.
player, dog.
What the fuck you talking about, boy?
If
What
Glow
has
really
he
want to
done?
rub on,
Not a
hey,
goddamn thing.
if Glow really want
Wait,
to be all on
wait.
his
You know what's
nuts,
so crazy?
oh
Go ahead
well,
and
get
finish.
over
Go
it.
ahead and finish.
You
Go
need
ahead
that.
and
Yes,
finish.
sir. I see you back there with a
I might kill
17
him.
on.
Look
Throw
at
that
17.
X up.
He
Wait,
calls me for a booty call. I'm leaving my
Yes,
kids here and
sir.
I'm out.
my brother
C
right there.
Dog
What up,
got
D?
17 million complaints, and the Xavier Legette ain't one.
Yeah, he does.
My
My
thing
boy
though,
had
like
17
D
drop
money,
balls this
what's
year.
up, bro?
Family.
I'm about
D
Dan Morgan got his
money.
fucking replacement. Got
D
their
money,
T-Mac.
what's up, bro?
T-Mac gonna have a better year than goddamn
Oh,
Excel.
I didn't
D
get to see
money,
him
what's
take
up?
a shit today on the toilet. I don't know if he's prepared. Shut
Hold
up.
on, D
All
money,
I
what's
was
up, bro?
doing was answering the fucking question.
Hold on.
I
Let me give D money his intro. D money, what's up, bro?
Yo, what's going on, family? Right now, I'm in the Longhorn state of Texas. Right now, because my daughter's graduating high school tomorrow. So I had
Congrats,
to come
bro.
hell
by and
yeah.
check in while I'm sitting here in the lawn. But you know, I wasn't going to go cross state lines and not give a little Xavier Legette to him. Put a little Carolina
Yeah.
Panther pride and let them know what I'm representing when I leave the Carolina.
Hey, look, D Money. Tell him what it is, D Money.
Yo,
Tell him what it is, D Money.
look, first off, I'm gonna tell you why Excel. I'm gonna tell you why Excel gonna be great. Because see, just a matter of a week and a half ago, I had a birthday, right? And that birthday was a 45, right? Well, do you remember who had the 45, right? That man was called the great Michael Jordan, and that was the 45, and that was called the comeback year, right? Well, everybody that had an issue about Excel's hands in his first year, right? And everybody had an issue with the game that they thought they could have won because of his hands. And you're adding McMillan, who he's doggone getting on a rapport with. And what I'm hearing in OTAs, Bryce Young throwing lasers out there. Ain't nobody been talking about Bryce Young throwing lasers in any OTAs until this year.
and we got XL, and we got Ted out here getting ready to receive them things. We got Adam Thielen, Luke Skywalker himself, ready to get out there and receive them things. And then we got Hunter Renfro that's going to sit out there and fight and try to receive some things. And then as soon as Jimmy Horn gets his tire patched, he's going to be out there to receive some things. Basically, what I'm saying to you is Bryce Young is going to have a bevy of targets, especially this one right here. And we about to show you what dollar bill is all about, baby. And we about to sit and get up and gallop all through the NFC South. And I'm just happy to be with y'all this evening. And if you ain't with us now, you ain't welcome to the parade. Keep pounding.
Pounding.
Money.
Hey, man. Hey, man, congratulations on your daughter graduating, man. That's big time, bro. That's big time, man.
Hey, I appreciate that. Appreciate that.
That jersey, man.
Listen,
Keep rocking it.
Yeah, listen. So look, man, y'all gotta cut me some slack, man. Y'all can tell your boy is losing his voice. So y'all got if I'm trying to break it up, y'all gotta let me break it up. But all I want to say is this, man. I don't care about any of this shit, man. It doesn't bother me until he starts fucking up next season, bro. Because if he does, then it's going to be a different look. But I'm not preparing for him to fuck up. I think he's going to come out here and prove himself now that he has all this competition around him in the form of Jalen Coker and now in the form of Tedderell McMillan. Bro, he has to step it up. All I'm saying is, bro, now he has to show that he has that potential to be a number one wide receiver, even though we drafted T-Mac on this team, bro. But other than that,
we're going for 1,000 yards this year, Mike. We're going 1,000 yards. Kentucky Derby, man. We're going for 1,000 yards this year, Mike.
Derby over here, Mike. You already know, Mike. Hell yeah, bro. I'm with that shit.
And after we drafted him, the knock on him was that, you know, he didn't run his route trees good, and he worked on that all through the preseason, and there was no complaints about him running routes, you know, by the time the season started. So now the complaint is, you know, he's got concentration issues. He's had all offseason to work on that. You know, build his confidence up.
There you go.
It's going to be a big offensive year, gentlemen. Big offensive year.
And this is the thing. This is the thing I'm saying, man. It's not like he had the most drop balls in the NFL last year, bro. There was people that's been in the league who's had higher drop balls and were drafted way higher than him. So let's cut the man some slack. All this complaining. Look, listen. He's not. Listen. Ain't nobody sitting here. He's not forcing nobody to turn the camera on him. They doing it on their own. So speak some life into the man instead of talking down on him. Complaining, but because this man got some ass. Oh, complaining because this man represents some horses. Shut the fuck
up. I'm telling you.
It's just like we put Aaron Rodgers in the Super Bowl. What has this motherfucker done, man? Jalen Coker is better than him.
What have you done, C-Dog? All you done is complain.
Hey, I ain't hating on Jalen Coker.
Has more reliable hands than you. And you out here at the Derby. You out here in music videos and shit.
You sound like what is able to get right on. That's a nag.
Man, you ain't did shit.
You sound like what is able to get right on, bro. And that's a nag.
Let me introduce my friend back on the free-for-all, Wes Justin, back in the building. Wes, how are you, brother?
I'm good, brother. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Hey, man, what do you make of XL dropping 2 balls and Glorilla, bro?
I mean, ain't that kind of what we know him for? I just hope he can quit doing that shit when the season comes.
Yeah, man. Like, hey, man, I put up some footage.
I like him, but like, dude,
yep.
I also agree, like, bro, if your issue is dropping balls, why ain't you on that ball machine? Why are you in music videos? Why are you
How you know he not?
Derby?
How you know he not? How you know he not? How you know he not though? How you know he not?
The cameras ain't showing him there.
They're allowing you to see what they want you to see.
Again.
They're showing him. They're showing him everywhere but
they're showing you what they want them to see. what they want you to see.
Well, then my thing is,
You don't
let's
like the
hope
truth.
he is grinding. Let's hope he is grinding. Let's hope those two
Well, how about
drops
you
is
buy a
the
drone
only two
and go over and look at the practice since y'all worry so much about what he catching?
I don't got to.
How
All
about
I got
wait,
is
if
Instagram.
Stop complaining.
Go on Instagram every day.
Big don't want
Go on
to
Instagram every day.
play in the fucking league.
Ain't that our
That's
job
the
as
fact of it.
Panthers
He's
fans?
an NFL draft pick. If he don't want the heat that he gets from the fans, he's got a choice. Go
Bro, ain't
home
that
and don't come back.
ain't that
That's
our
his
job
choice right
as
there.
Panthers fans to
When
worry
you
about
get
what the hell he's
drafted,
doing?
when you get drafted first round pick, you got heat, you got pressure. You don't like it? Simple solution: quit and walk away. There's been a
That
lot
is
of
true
people do
too,
that.
man.
But
That's
hold on,
exactly how it is.
Pickle, I agree.
It doesn't matter.
Pickle, I agree with you.
Pickle,
Put up
take a
or shut
breath,
up.
man.
I understand
Yeah.
that. But we going off 1 year at the 32nd pick off of 1 year off of college. That's all he did. And we over here hooting and hollering about 1 year of him dropping 9 balls. Come on,
Yeah,
man. Let's
That is a lot of drops, though, man.
Hopefully.
I'm not
Oh
done
my
yet.
God.
Let's be
was
really
he number
One
one,
out-
Cody? Was he
one
number
out-
one in drops?
But let me go and pick one. I'm gonna
It
introduce
doesn't
somebody
matter.
in the stream. Pick one.
Okay.
Pick one. I'm gonna introduce somebody.
I understand he had a lot of drops. I defended him last week. Here's my point, okay? I've defended him all week on Twitter, okay? I said just this way to Jake, I think it was. I said, I think he's going to be fine this year. I really do. I think he's going to be absolutely fine. I think he's not going to feel all the pressure he was feeling last year. I think he's going to be able to we'll go into the football season with a clearer mind. I really believe that. Now, that being said, about the video, I was asked a question, and I answered it. Now, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of social media I don't like. I can go down the politician's road. I can tell you all the bullshit I'm hearing all the time on social media, but I don't. Why? Because people wouldn't. I'd get a lot more haters if I opened my mouth about what I really feel. So I don't. So listen. But here's how it is. He can show up in all the videos he wants. He can go into as many horse races and NASCAR races he wants. He can be on every TV. He could go to Hollywood
And the hockey game.
take that by storm. But he gets paid to play football. If he don't produce this coming year, he may not get that opportunity to do all them things before.
But he will.
I will, but let me make a point. Let me make a point. Hold on, Pickle. Let me make a point. I feel like Xavier Legette, just like how Bryce Young, right? We moved up to number 1. And fair or unfair, there are different standards that are set upon you when you're the number 1 pick. A lot of people got upset when Bryce received a lot of criticism for not playing well. To me, all is fair in love and war, man. It is true what Pickle said. He is a number 1 pick. We traded back up into the first round. If he doesn't continue to progress his game, which I'm not saying he won't, I believe that he will. But this isn't going to look cool if he's out there, on every single social media feed. He's in rappers' videos. If those problems were to persist, all bets are off, man. Now he's signed up for this. So,
well, I was
all
going
is
to
fair in
go
love
a
and war.
video.
That's all
I
I'm
don't
saying.
care.
That's what
I can make time for Glorilla. She just got a new BBL.
Amen, D-Money.
I want to see what that's about. So, yes, I would stop what I was doing to find out what all that's about. But yes, I would get back to receiving catches. I would. No baby oil. I would get out there and start receiving them balls with no baby oil, no diddy. But if Glorilla called me and tell me to take my shirt off and act intimate with her, I'm going to do it.
She got that
And XL was right for doing it. Think about it.
He want to be a
Think about it. All
celebrity.
last year, the only thing we heard him say he was going to take clothes off of was squirrels. At least now, we can kind of picture him taking clothes off of something else besides a squirrel.
Yeah, all right.
Everything else is football.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
They don't want this man to have no life. They don't want this man to have no life. Wake up with a judge machine. Go to bed with a judge machine.
Look, why can't he wake up, put on a clean suit, go to the Kentucky Derby, and then listen to Glorilla freestyle for 15 minutes? What is wrong with that?
Yeah,
That's 15 minutes out of his day. 15 minutes of his day. It takes 10,000 hours. It takes 10,000 hours to be an NFL pro. 10,000 hours. You can get 15 minutes.
let me go to Jake, and then we're gonna go back to
That's
Skeeter.
it,
Go
bro.
ahead, Jake.
I was just gonna add on to it. I mean, all this exposure with XL, at least it ain't bad exposure. Like he ain't doing crimes and shit. I haven't look
Yeah.
to this whole thing about you gotta live football, you gotta breathe football, you can't do this, can't do that. You gotta live your life, bro. You gotta live your life. You gotta be able to do shit that's fun to you. Oh, echo bad.
But I can't wait till the season
All
starts.
right.
I can't
I'm
wait. Hey,
telling you
this
now.
motherfucker
I'm
better
telling
not
you
talk
now.
a goddamn
I'm telling
thing.
you now.
Wait,
Every
hold
time
on.
y'all talk about
They're
that
going to
thing,
Indiana
Hold
Pacers
up.
with
I
football.
can't wait, man.
Hold
I
on. Go ahead,
can't
Jake.
wait.
Nah, I'm just saying, like, I mean, look, we all want him to produce. We all want him to go out there, have a stellar season. He's a first round pick. He was the last pick in the first round. He has to produce. As simple as that. If he don't, then we can all come back to the subject about, hey, you know, he was doing off season shit like that. We can come back to that. But you can't grill this man right now for not living football every day, because who knows what he does on his own time. The camera's not on this dude 24/7 in the
Thank you.
bedroom, in the workroom, wherever. Sorry, but it's not. So to say that he's not working out, shit, I'm sorry, but how can you say that? Because there ain't proof about it.
Hey,
You
Cody.
see more videos
Hey,
for
Cody,
everything
can I
else
jump
instead of
in
working
for a
out in
second?
football, though.
Well, hold on. Let me go to C
That's the
Dog,
whole
and then we'll go
point.
to D Money.
You
Go ahead,
see
C
more
Dog.
videos like everything else instead of football. I see him got in the volleyball game. I see him at the Kentucky Derby. I see him in videos.
How many hours
I
in a
see
day
him.
is it?
No, let me finish. I just let you finish. I see him
You ain't
everywhere
finished it.
but the damn football field and practice.
Because nobody's allowed to be.
Come
You see
on,
him right there?
man.
Hold on,
What
what
are we
you see him
talking
right now?
about
Is that
here?
not at practice? See dog. Is this not a clip from practice? Is this not practice field video?
Man, he got more videos for
Answer my
everything else
question. Yes or no?
instead of
It's not
football.
multiple choice. He's giving you what you asked for. They got cameras there. Him catching the ball, bro. It's 24 hours in a day. The man can have some free time. Damn. Yeah, I
And
bet you not the employee.
he
I bet
hasn't
you not the
done
employee.
anything.
Hold on, see dog. I bet you there's not a plaque in your house right now that says you the appointment of the employee of the year hanging up on your wall. You are not the best at your job at where you work at.
Well, we don't know that. He might be the best at his job. We don't know.
Yeah, boy, you tripping.
Hey, hold on. No, I want to see access.
And I want
Like
to
I
see
said, the man, he doing
XL
everything
chase
No.
except
See
the
dog.
football.
Jalen
You
All
should
right.
be
He
on
does
this live.
everything.
Let me go with D Money. Hand raised. Then I'm going to introduce Coach Dynasty. Go ahead, D Money.
Just saying, man.
Go ahead, D Money.
All right. So let's put some context into this XL jump before we just sit here and bury him completely. Okay. First off, you were looking for the evidence of what that man work ethic was. All last off season, right? You saw this Joker doing 100-yard dashes on treadmills, doing all this Mr. Olympic mess. And what did we get? Hamstring injuries and everything else. So maybe the man has managed his workout regimen. We already see that he has a man's body. But when we saw him go balls to the wall, what did we get out of it? We got an injured product in the early part of the season. But not just with him being an injured product in the early part of the season. Was he not scoring touchdowns? Was he not the playmaker when Bryce was struggling and when Andy Dalton had to come in? Wasn't he the one doing the dollar bill dance and everybody was getting all excited? And then as we got to the end of the year and he was banged up, mind you, everybody want to talk about that Philly game where he dropped that pass. Let's not talk about that first quarter when he got speared like he was speared by Edge in his prime or Goldberg in his prime, and doggone laid him out. And then he still had the ability to get the separation. Yes, he didn't have the concentration, but he had the separation. So if the man is working on his body, and yes, maybe we're not seeing him go 100 miles an hour on the treadmill like we did last year, but we're actually seeing him actually put in the proper work that doesn't overextend his body. I'm more than welcome to see him at the Kentucky Derby, at whatever derby or whatever music video he wants to be at. Let's be quite honest. When Patrick Mahomes is in a daggone State Farm commercial, we say nothing. When Travis Kelce's in a State Farm commercial, we don't say nothing. And Travis Kelce didn't do nothing for the first 8 weeks of the season. Look, you were just waiting. Nah, I'm not giving you that moment, bro. Let me talk. Now, as we continue, XL could come out there right now and start off the season with 6,
You just put
90
your
to
foot in your
100
mouth.
yard
Can everybody
games
do that?
and 4 to 5
Hold on,
touchdowns.
K-Dog.
And if he comes out with 2 games where he drops a pass or 2, everybody's going to jump on it. That's the culture that we got right now. But I don't believe that that's what's going to happen. I believe that man saw. What was it that that man did when he dropped them balls in that one crucial game? He canceled the vacation he was going to have, and he put in more work. And if a dude can feel that accountability and that responsibility to cancel out plans that he had to get better at his craft, I'm not going to question him when he goes into the next off season when he's already saw and it's already pointed out where he failed at, and he realized, okay, it's not time for fun and games. And he did that then. Why would I have a reason now to doubt that that man is putting in that work right now in the off season? Just because you see him with a pretty suit on rubbing a horse doesn't mean that as soon as he leaves that, he's not out there running route trees, or he's not out there in front of the jug machine. Shoot, before we even drafted Tetora McMillan, or excuse me, Mr. Nalo or Nalo or whatever he likes to be called, they said he was already catching passes from Bryce before he was ever drafted. Who's to say that Mr. Daniel Boone himself wasn't one of those people out there catching those passes? Now, also with that same breath, the reason why I have this same passion for giving Xavier Legette grace was because I had the same passion when everybody was trying to kill Bryce Young when he wasn't up to snuff. And I asked the question, where was the grace? And yes, he stepped up. So now, why would I not say, where's the grace, when he could possibly come out this year and have a breakout year beside Nalo and Luke Skywalker and Hunter Renfro and Speedy from Colorado?
Yeah.
If you want to hate on it, if you want to hate on it, you haven't seen him worked out on it, it's because you've already made up in your mind that he's not going to succeed. That's just my final opinion. And you know, like I say, if you ain't with us now, you ain't welcome to the parade.
Yes, sir. Amen. Shout out to Corey Ruffin for the $2. Says, "What's up, C3 family? God bless. God bless you, brother. Hope you're having a wonderful afternoon." Hey, let me welcome in Surfside Steve back on the free for all. Steve, how are you, brother?
Doing fine. Happy Friday, everybody, and stuff. A lot of stuff going on. I love the blueprint. My favorite thing was how Dan was keeping Tillis in check because he wanted to deal and go crazy and everything. And Dan said, "Just calm down, take it easy. We'll get everything we need." And I just think it was run so well. Tepper did his little tiny bit on the side, which was all we needed. So I enjoyed the whole thing. You know, I love to see more of the inside stuff. Now, can we find out what happened with that trade? The details. That's what I really want to know about those trades that didn't happen. What were they offering both times? So that's going to be. That'll come out one day.
Yeah.
Sure.
I saw someone.
They said it was the 29th, the 90th, and the second next year first round pick. The 29th, the 90th.
Do we know if that was ever official pop? Because I think somebody had just I saw that online, but I don't know if that was like a real actual. I want to know, what did Dan send to the Rams that the Rams were like, nah, that's too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know what Dan told them, because they highballed them for a reason. They didn't want to trade down. They wanted to draft Nalo. So they were all relieved when the trade didn't go through. You know, they were happy that they were going to be able to sit there and draft Tenaroa McMillan at that spot, man.
I bet they wanted the first and seconds for both years.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. That would have been one hell of a deal. I don't know if I would have taken that though, man. Because remember, the Rams are probably going to be a good team this year, so their first round pick might not even be a high first round pick.
More likely not.
Yeah.
More just like our second round wasn't very early. It went late because of the Rams, because we had their second rounder.
Hey, I wanted to give Diesel Skills the opportunity to touch on the last subject.
My man D, what up, bro?
If you would like to, D's, how do you feel about Xavier Legette being the newest video vixen of the NFL?
Well, like I said in the previous Friday free for all, going to the Kentucky Derby, that was from the NFL. And if you're invited by your new employer to go, you better go.
Sure.
And then the Glorilla thing, man, I ain't got an opinion. Whatever Excel wants to do, if he thinks that's cool, then that's cool. And we'll see what he does next year. I think y'all are 100% right. If he still struggles with some drops and he's got to catch the ball with his hands, we saw some clips of him doing that. If he's still bringing that ball in his body and dropping it like he was last year, he's going to get cooked. I mean, I just agree with y'all on that. I don't have any strong convictions on any of it. I just want him to do good at the number 2 position for our team. That's what I really want. I want him to play well and be the number 2 that he was drafted to be. He was never drafted to be the number 1 last year. He got forced into that role because of Deontay Johnson's antics in the locker room. And those antics are still going now with the Browns. He didn't report to OTAs. So the guys just was a problem in the locker room. That's why the Steelers unloaded him. And that's why Excel got thrust into a role that he wasn't ready to play. Plus the stuff about being a long season. He only had 1 big year in college, so that long NFL season really beat him up. So hopefully he got some kind of surgery. I think it was ankle surgery in the offseason. He elected not to get the wrist surgery. So hopefully that sets him straight and he does well going forward. I just want to shout out the panel tonight. Wes, thank you for coming back and wearing that awesome freaking hat and shirt, bro. That is awesome. D-Money, good to see you again. Congratulations to your daughter, my friend. Surfside, missed you last week. Glad you come in tonight. And in Cardiac, I'm glad you popped in, bro. Good to talk to you, my friend. That's all I got to say about Excel.
That's my brother from the mother, bro.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm wondering why XL suddenly he's been the whipping boy of the Panthers. Last year, there's a lot of problems, and he was definitely not at the top of the list of the problems.
True,
So
he wasn't.
I agree, sir. I really do.
The whipping boy.
Like, I don't understand how he became such a whipping boy this year. Like, out of everything, like, how did he become the guy that became targeted? I don't really understand. I was actually looking forward to the growth this year, to be quite honest with you. I didn't expect this.
I'm with you on that because everything tells you that you knew that that's why they picked up that's why they did it for the 5th year option, because they knew he only had 1 year of production. They knew he also had some injuries coming in. So you knew that it was going to take time to develop. But I'm starting to think that people are either envy because they want to be the guy, or I don't know what it is, but it sounds like jealousy. At the end of the day, I'm just saying, if you can get off your high horse for a minute and say, okay, oh, now I'm starting to believe in Bryce. Why you can't do the same thing for XL?
I believe in him personally. What I
too.
said was definitely took it wrong. I didn't mean he wasn't working. I said hopefully he's working on the field just as hard as he is on his public appearance. Because it's cool as shit that he's on music videos and all that. But I hope, keyword hope, he's putting in just as much work on the field. Yes, there's clips of him. That's awesome. And I'm glad to see him moving quicker, cutting quicker, catching the passes, doing all that good shit. I'm glad. My point was, I hope he is working hard on both, not just one. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah,
I agree. I think all of us should have some type of concern to some.
I mean, truthfully, I only own one Panthers jersey, and that's a fucking Luke Kuechly jersey. I've been thinking hard of getting a number 17 jersey lately. So when I say that kind of shit, like, I feel like I have a right to say that because I'm a real Legette fan. Like, I ain't no bullshit fan. I'm hard on him because I'm rooting for him. I want him to be our number 1.
As you should. I'm just trying to tell people, like, let's not jump too quick out the door, because if he comes out here and shows us some type of what he's looking like he could possibly as a superstar or a star, and put that with T-Mac and T-Mac come in here, we could be dangerous, my guys.
I agree.
I try to tell people, be careful what you say, because it can actually happen in the future when you say certain things. I'm just trying to breathe life into this man's success. That's all I'm trying to do.
Say, and I be talking a lot of shit and putting XL's name in there too. Be like, okay, you don't like it when he Moss is your best DB this year, right? So that's why I'm like, all right, let's hope he does as good, because I'm talking a lot of shit. I'm hoping he fulfills it, you know. Like,
I've said I'm gonna be done with it.
32 points a game this year. So there's lots of touchdowns to go around.
Yeah. I think Bryce is going to spread the hell out of the ball, dude.
I've said it multiple times, man. If we all agreed on the same opinion, it'd be like for a boring conversation. So regardless, I mean, it's great that we have different opinions, anyways.
Hey man,
I
so
ain't heard
before
that much, but I'm excited to see Jatavion Sanders this year, man. Now that he's healthy again and got
Oh yeah, he's a beast.
under his belt.
He's a beast.
That was my
I'm high
favorite
on
pick
JT.
last year.
I'm very high on JT.
That was my favorite pick.
He might get an opportunity to start in training camp and preseason with the
He
injury
was starting regardless.
with the injury to Tommy. But as far as
yeah, man.
you know, but as far as those who are overly critical of XL, I personally believe they're critical of XL because they're running out of people to be critical about. They don't have the kicker to be critical about. They don't have. It ain't like they can hate on Clowney for being old. I mean, I've heard a lot of criticism of two players. Now, both I think is unfair in a lot of ways, and that is Mike Jackson and XL. I really do think those are overly critical. I think Mike Jackson was a victim of the scheme that Evero run.
Hey, what do you think about everybody talking shit about Horn already just because he got an injury?
Jimmy
hamstring.
Jimmy Horn. I started this. I said, "Wait a minute, Jason hurt again." But I got you. I think it's just people who ain't got nothing better to do.
I think so too.
I really do. I mean, is he banged up? Yeah, but let's be real. An injury to a mid-round rookie in OTAs or any player in OTAs is not uncommon.
Dude, he's been training his ass off, bro. That's
That happens. That was a lot of issues to players in the past. They would overexert themselves at the combines and get ready for the combine and the draft, and they wear themselves out, and then all of a sudden they get drafted. Shit, and they're going to go and practice with the big boys. Good Lord, you know they're going to overwork themselves. They get there, and it's just.
Of course, you could tell the muscle gains between when they came out of college to after the first year in the NFL, and almost every player, like they're. When you're getting that much bigger that quick, you're gonna have muscle injuries. That's what my point is. Like, Horn's gonna be all right. He's gonna still come out there and smoke motherfuckers. Like it's
right. I believe that. I believe that. I believe Horn. I believe Jimmy Horn is going to. And I said this the other day, and I think Monday on our space, and I'll say it here. I believe, and it's just my opinion. Anybody comes at me, y'all gonna get a lot you don't want to hear. But I'll tell you, in my opinion, and at C3, everybody has a right to their opinion. And we don't allow hating on somebody because they have a different opinion.
That's right.
But in my opinion, Jimmy Horn has a very strong chance of making the Pro Bowl this year as a rookie in the
I like that. I like that. Hey, let me say one more thing about XL. I'm going to be done with XL. Well, I'm going to get off of XL, but I'm gonna say this about Dan Morgan, what he did in this draft. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Even from the previous drafts, this is what made this a masterful draft. And why I say, and to me, this why Excel might be already out the equation. This is my personal opinion. But Dan Morgan went out and got Excel last year. He came out here and didn't produce. You know what I'm saying? Went out here and got a better receiver this season. He drafted Jonathan Brooks last year, the running back. He was injured. You know what I'm saying? That was a mistake. Really, that was two mistakes made. He went out here and got another running back. You know what I'm saying? He got two running backs. He signed one and he got one in the draft. So he got better already than from last year, already in the fucking year. So he already my best fucking GM ever. You know what I'm saying? That's why Excel's on the motherfucking clock and I'm done with Excel. I can sit here and got them hold his fucking nuts all got the night till they got their season, got their start.
Hey, Pickle. Pickle. I like your idea. I like your idea, Pickle, of him being like a star player by the end of the year. But I had just 2 words of warning: David Getz.
David Getz.
David Getz. What's his name? Getz. He was like a receiver who didn't make it. We all loved him.
David Getz. I got you.
Yeah,
you're right.
And I want him the ball too, man.
And David's biggest issue was he couldn't stay healthy. But
Yeah, I know.
you're right.
head of the tail at
You
the
know,
same
you're
time.
right. You're right.
Yep.
There's always a guy there. There's always a guy. You know, when we drafted that guy,
Jared from
we
USC.
drafted that guy. Where they from a few years ago back in, and he was from
Kevin
Iowa, or I
Colbert.
think it was, or Illinois. Everybody says he's just a little mouthy dude, but he could return good, and that's all anybody cared about. But there was
Yeah.
a lot of that off season. His first off season as a Panther, there was a lot of people didn't like him because he fumbled a lot. He got ripped to shreds. In today's social media, Steve Smith would be ripped to shreds his rookie year because he fumbled too much. And if y'all remember back then, that there was legitimate thought processes across the league that Steve Smith was too short to play wide receiver. That was real. Only older folks know that. That was very real.
Hold on, Phil. He was on trade receiver when he first came in the league. He was a he was on special teams.
Exactly. And the reason
He
why
got
he didn't
better.
play, and the reason why
Tyreek Hill was at the special teams. And he got better.
the reason why he didn't play wide receiver, he didn't get a chance at wide receiver, was because people kept telling him, draft and GMs alike kept telling him that he's too short to play wide receiver. He could never handle the pressure. Now back then, though, they would knock the bejesus out of you when you line up in slot and smile about it. And if you got up, sometimes it's receiver. If you got up after getting hit hard in the middle, your defensive coach would chew your ass out if that receiver got up.
All right, boys, bear with me for a minute because today we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. While they score buckets, you can score cash on Underdog. Underdog is the leading sports app, and you can play now in your state. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? To play, all you have to do is download the app and choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. You can choose from things like points, assists, and so much more. Once your picks feel good, you can play with as little as $1. If you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So since NBA, the championship is being played right now, 2 picks that I have is Chet Holmgren at lower than 1.5 3-pointers, and Tyrese Halliburton at lower than 16.5 points. Take that for what it's worth. I don't even know much about basketball, but look, man, download the Underdog app, sign in with promo code C3P, and unlock a special offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code C3P. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-New York or text HOPE NY. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy for helping me to lose the rest of my voice. I hope y'all sign up and use the promo code C3P. We appreciate y'all. I wanted to bring up something before we moved on to can we talk about the Savannah Bananas, y'all? Can we talk about this shit? Because I was only made aware of the Savannah Bananas.
Being a Gastonia Grizzlies used to be, supposedly.
Yeah, so
I didn't know that till today. Literally didn't know that till today.
Oh, y'all late.
So last night, the Savannah Bananas played to a sold 74,000 people at Bank of America Stadium, and they had Luke Kuechly throw out the first pitch of the game. But what I didn't know was that the Savannah Bananas are a phenomenon right now. They are packing stadiums out. And if you don't know what they are like what the Harlem Globetrotters was to basketball.
It's entertaining.
Yeah,
it really is.
They are to baseball. How do y'all feel that a baseball team that's not even a professional team has more fans in Bank of America Stadium than the Carolina Panthers?
It's okay because excellent videos.
Damn, look how many people are there, though, bro.
Yeah, but they're only showing you one shot. They're
like that
showing
this
you
year.
one shot.
We'll be like
They
that
have
this
to
year,
stand
Cody.
from that one shot, though. You're not seeing the rest of the stadium.
We got
They've been selling out.
Yeah.
We'll be
For us
like
to
that
get a
next
crowd like
this
that
year,
back,
bro. What?
we got to start
I
with the
bet it
game.
was
Simple as that.
$120 a ticket either.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure it wasn't that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they had
No, they
opening
wasn't
from
cheap.
hey Cody, they actually had opening from the sand lot the other day too. I thought you were gonna pull that up. The guy from the sand lot, they had he was out there playing with the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah, I know you talking about from the Sandlot. Yeah. I know
Yeah, that was yesterday. Either that was in Charlotte or that was the stop before or whatever. But yeah. Oh, I said, damn, man.
All right,
Damn, that's
Cody.
crazy.
I got to get on out of here and get ready for work.
Football team not even got them.
All right, Justin, we appreciate you,
Justin.
bro.
Yeah,
Hey,
Hey, brother.
yeah, man. Peace and love, brother.
yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
Yes, sir.
Be easy, Justin.
Yes,
He's
sir.
done it quickly here. Tied record of 6 home runs each of the last 3 tours. He's left the yard 6 times. He's done it quickly here in 2025. He'll be denied the opportunity first time around. Fouls out to a fan.
Well, they got pretty pink uniforms.
They're playing. They're
With the
playing
green
again at the bank
shoes.
tomorrow, ain't they, Cody? Or are they playing
Yeah.
tonight?
What
they're playing
is it?
tonight.
Okay, so this is the Bananas against the Strawberries, right?
Now the party animals.
Yeah, it's the party animals and
Yeah, the
Bananas.
party animals.
It looks
Come
like
on.
a strawberry with the green shoes and the.
Come on, Pickle. Get with the time.
Yeah,
Get
watch
with
it.
the times
Okay,
now.
watch this. Watch this.
Tied record of 6 home runs each
They
of
start
the
doing
last
flips
3
and
tours.
shit.
He's left the yard.
Let me see if I can find some more.
Yeah, go to their actual page, Cody, and scroll down. You'll start seeing them do all kinds of crazy stuff.
So for me, this isn't an indictment on the Panthers or the NFL. This is an indictment on the MLB. And you look at what I think it was the Florida Marlins just last week or earlier this week. They had an attendance of 137 people, but yet the Savannah Bananas come into Bank of America Stadium and sell out, 70,000 tickets or so. And it's just the entertainment factor. And maybe the MLB should take a little notice of what is going on here and how these guys are able to provide entertainment in America's pastime. Because there shouldn't be that they shouldn't draw 70,000 in the Marlins. I think it was I hope I'm right on that. I could be wrong. Only bring in 107 or 100. It was 137 people. It was like a record low for the Major League Baseball. So it's just something to think about.
Killing them. And, ooh, that's wow.
Yeah, they do a bunch of crazy.
That's
Like
wow.
So these, I'm not too familiar with them, but they play by different rules. Like that's what this whole video is about. It's not like normal baseball. They do a bunch of wild shit. They'll have like old ladies come out to throw the first pitch. They'll have guitars and breaking them and shit. They do all types of wild stuff. And
they get a point literally for per run in the game. They get 1 point per game. The way they do a point system is crazy. I just learned about it today too, so I'm not totally familiar with it. But yeah, the way they do their rules and stuff is wild.
Well, let's think about sports entertainment as a whole, right? How many people love the WWE or other wrestling divisions? People love that stuff. People have known that wrestling wasn't real and was like a predetermined outcome since like the 30s, I believe. People have known this for a long time. But we still attend, we still watch, right? People still watch for the entertainment value. And this is the same thing. This is sports entertainment. I'm not saying that the outcome is determined. I don't believe it is. But it's the same kind of idea. If we put a good product out there and entertain the fans and never disrespect the fans, then we're going to have people sit in the seats and watch our show. And that's what's happened here with the Bananas.
They come out here in rows, man. That's
I got an example for you.
If I can say real quick, I think, geez, I agree with you in about every way. In the NFL, if you we separate the NFL because we're kind of biased, but if you calculate some of the other sports, you talk about the NBA, for example. The NBA has pretty much told the fans, "You're here to serve us."
Mm-hmm.
Major League Baseball has told their fans the same thing. The NFL is on its way to telling their fans, "You're here to worship us."
Yeah.
Like this right here. Y'all don't know that. You may not know this. The XFL is extremely popular. Their shows are selling out all over the place. Why? Because people can go watch real football without worrying about the glorified player, the over media hype, and
it's affordable. Pickle.
Yeah,
and it's affordable.
Yep.
It's affordable. That's a big deal too, man. Like if you're a family, let's say you're a family of 2 or 3, maybe even 4, how much are you paying to go see a regular season NFL game? You're paying so much money. We don't know how much that costs at Bank of America. You could probably go and see that Savannah Banana, whatever it's called, for the same price of what you would for one ticket to see the Panthers. Of course they're selling out, man. And I heard what Dee said too. You know, they're showing you America's pastime that you can make changes to it to make it more relevant than it's ever been.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not a baseball purist. I know some people love it. I used to when I was a kid, but now I just like football and fighting. Those are my only sports I follow. But yeah, I agree with what Dee said. It's very much an indictment on the MLB, who have these abysmal attendance records at all their stadiums. So, Dee, you were trying to see if it was the Marlins. There's a bunch of teams right now that are just, I think the Rangers were another one, the Texas Rangers. Yeah, there's a bunch of teams that are not doing very well right now. They're even trying to change the rules in Major League Baseball. I don't know what they are, but
well, they've been working on it, trying to speed up the pace of the game, which is one thing. And look, I'm not a baseball purist. So if for some reason you are a baseball purist and you are on this C3 Panthers podcast and you don't like my remarks, I do apologize. I'm not a big baseball fan and haven't been for a very, very long time. So this is just my take looking from the outside in on what's going on with Major League Baseball. It seems like those numbers, like you said, Cody, are down across the board. It was a record set last week. I may have been incorrect about the team, but certainly it's been a trend, and they need to make changes. And they've been making changes to try to make the game a little faster, to make it fit in within that hour-and-a-half window, I think is what they're aiming for. But maybe they should take note of what's going on with these Savannah Bananas and how they're having such success. And all these major league sports, I agree 100%, should make it more family friendly, where it's easier for fans to afford to go and be a part of the action. And just like Tony was talking about on Tuesday, that's where C3 is going to be. We're going to be at FanFest because that's affordable. It's like $5 a ticket. We can all be there together and have a good time and watch our team.
Love it. Do y'all know when tickets go on sale for FanFest?
Should be coming up this month, I think. Latter part of this month, I think.
I looked it up before. But I don't recall right now.
All right, man. Before we get out of here.
Oh, my bad, Cody. Okay.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, C-Dog.
I was going to say, like, the NBA, the NBA is like what it used to be. But then, the NBA All-Star Weekend is just fucking trash. Just for me, you know, like, my nephew was never really experienced a real NBA All-Star Weekend. Let's take it back to, like, the East versus the West. Like when I was a kid, man, the NBA All-Star Weekend, that was it. The dunk contest was everything.
Yes, the dunk contest.
Yes. That was everything coming up to me as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
nah, that shit's so weak.
I'm not
man.
even
Like
a
LeBron James
basketball
didn't.
fan, and I
Yeah,
know the dunk contest was lit.
Man, I
yeah,
agree
it's like it's
100%
what it
with.
used to be, man.
You're right, C Dog. I agree 100% with you. It's not what it used to be. It used to be a
Word
lot of
up.
fun to watch, and the same thing goes for the NFL Pro Bowl. I know that'll get Pickle fired up
Yep,
because it used to
yep,
be a real
yep,
game in
yep,
Hawaii. Everybody
yep,
wore their
yep,
helmets for
yep,
repping their team, and they had
yep.
some hitting going on. And now we got flag football and like a watered down skills competition that's not even as good as what they used to do with the quarterback competition, which was better. And they need to go back to
Yep.
what works, Pickle.
Right. They
Hell
should
yeah,
just do away
man.
with the Pro Bowl and even the Pro Bowl voting. The whole thing's a scam anyway. All is about, it used to not be. Now it's all about players getting bigger paychecks. That's all it's about. It's not about it's not even about who's a better player or not. It's all about which agent can convince their player and to advertise himself till all the fans vote for him, and which guys the NFL wants up there. That's all. It's not even about the skills. It's not about the best player or not. The whole entire thing is a scam just to get players more money. And the more money, and I'm sorry, but the more money the players make, the more the owner is going to raise the ticket prices. You think it's coincidence that C-Dog now has to pay $200 and some for a ticket when you start paying quarterbacks $200 a year or $20,000? I wish it was $200 a year. Yeah, but
$200 million a year.
$200 million. I mean, when the higher the salaries go, all of a sudden the fans get screwed. I mean, the other day, White Chocolate was talking about the price of eggs on Twitter, and I was said, bullshit. Do you think we import chicken eggs from China? No, it's all about the profit margin. Corporations realize all of a sudden, golly geez, we can raise the price of eggs to $10, and y'all still gonna buy them? You think we're gonna drop the prices? You some dumb sons of bitches. Because they're not going to do that. These corporations don't give a damn about the little man. But back on sports.
Ain't that the truth?
Back on sports. And back on sports. The Pro Bowl used to be an exciting thing. Okay,
Yeah,
a lot of reasons I watched it because it was also this player could legally player A. I'll put it this way: I can't convince you how many times Steve Smith would go to a Pro Bowl in his highlight, and other team players from other teams would try to convince him to come over here and join us. Yeah, and the coaches that coached the Pro Bowl were the same guys who would lose in the playoffs. So therefore, they had to coach it. I think it was the NFC loser and the AFC loser had to go coach the Pro Bowl. And that being said, fresh off a playoff loss, they would go down and coach Pro Bowl. A lot of times, if a guy was hitting free agency, this was a good team. Yeah, you can bet there was a lot of jiving going on back then. But it was all in fun, and everybody knew it.
Hey, before we get up out of here, I saw this going around Twitter. I haven't seen it yet, but everybody's really liking this response from Dan Morgan talking to Rich Eisen. So let's react in real time, see what he had to say.
You know, we want to win the NFC South. We want to get a home playoff game, and you know, we want to compete for championships. We want to build a consistent winner around here that the fans can be proud of. And, you know, it's too much losing around here in the past. And me being a former Carolina Panther, we got to get back to winning. And again, we got to put the work in, and I know we will.
Love the confidence from our general manager. I titled the show, "Is Dan Morgan the best GM the Panthers have ever had?" I know he's only into his second year, but man, he's off to the best start that I think you can have as a Panthers GM. I do love what he's doing for this organization, and I'm hoping he can continue it, man. But listen, man, I'm going to get everybody's final thoughts on this here free for all Friday, and then I'm gonna let y'all go about your lives and enjoy the weekend with your family and friends. First up, I'm gonna start with my brother. I love the passion always. My man, C Dog 1983. You know we appreciate you around these parts, bro. Tell them your final thoughts for the free for all, man.
Like I said, my final thoughts. I think Dan Morgan is the best GM we ever had. But as far as right now, it's just 2-year run because he went and got Excel last season. Probably didn't think Excel was the answer and went out this season. Got a better answer at receiver. Just like he drafted Jonathan Brooks last season. And he was injured, which I thought was a waste of pick. I really thought both of them was a waste of pick, in my opinion. You know. But then this offseason, he drafted a running back and he saw a running back. But he just off to a phenomenal start, man. He addressed everything he needed to address on both sides of the football.
Yes, sir. He did, man. He checked off every single box that he had. I'm loving that, man. And hey, by the way, I wanted to invite y'all, if you have not done so already, please follow us on kick.com. We only need a couple more subscribers, or followers rather, and we'll be up and running on Kick, man. So if you would, I certainly appreciate it. Kick.com/C3 Panthers Pod, all one word. That's kick.com/C3 Panthers Pod, man. That would be a big help to us if y'all could do that for us, man. Surfside Steve, back on the free for all. We appreciate you, brother. Give me your final thoughts for the show this afternoon, Steve.
Hey, it's a great show. I love the debate. Everybody's hopeful. I love the optimism I'm seeing from everybody. You know, we've had a bunch of bad years. I've been a Panther fan since '95 when they first started, so I've seen ups and downs and everything. And I think we finally have stability that I haven't seen in a decade at this team. So I'm looking forward to the team, see what the second-year players can do. And I'm looking for some good stuff this year coming up for sure.
Yes, sir. It ought to be a fantastic year for the Panthers. That's what I'm hoping for, man. NFC South or bust, like Dan Morgan said. Cardiac Cat 13, we appreciate you, man. Give us your final thoughts for the show this afternoon.
11-6.
Yeah.
Playoffs. You know, I just got to believe that as much help as we gave that defense this year, you know, it's basically what we did for the offense last year. So now we'll have some balance to our team instead of just one side trying to carry the load. And we've got ball players on both sides of the field now. We didn't have that last year.
Yeah.
You know, I'm digging it. Super Bowl 2026.
Let's go. I'm digging it. I love it, man. Love it. Jet the Snake on the free for all. Couldn't do it without you, man. Give me your final thoughts for this Friday evening, man.
Another great Friday free for all as always. Love every single one of y'all. But to talk about Dan Moore before we got off of here, to me, my personal opinion, I do think he's the greatest GM we have. I know it's early and people are like, oh, that's crazy going into second season, but I just feel like as many GMs, which I don't think we've had a whole bunch of GMs in the past, but just overall, I mean, we had GMs that probably was with us way too long and they didn't make the best choices. And just going by off of what I see right now, like I said, I know it's early, but I think Dan Morgan is going to be the greatest GM for us ultimately pretty damn soon. And besides that, I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this training camp, mini camp, whatever it is right now. I love what I'm seeing. I hope they continue to grow, and I just hope everybody stays healthy, man. I'm ready for the season.
Yes, sir. Ready for it, man. Ready for it. Panther Pickle, as always, man. Couldn't do your free for all without you. Appreciate you, man. Give me your final thoughts for the show tonight, man.
Yeah. You know, I've been a fan since the team was created. And this is the first time in my memory that we actually had an excellent cap guy and somebody who could actually draft players. we have one thing we don't often talk about, and one day we need to do more talking about it. But the difference that a new training staff with the new medical staff is here. I don't think it's any coincidence that the training staff last year told XL he needed surgery on his wrist. This year, the new training staff looked at it and said, no, you don't. I think it's a better doctors, better trainers. When we go to the Super Bowl and win it, who's going to have the balls to say, Mr. Tepper, I'm sorry for doubting your plan? I don't think I will. I'll just smile and be happy, but I don't think I'm going to get on live video and say, Mr. Tepper, you the man. Maybe I should, but hell, he don't listen to me anyway. But anyway, we all Panther fans, and sometimes we get passionate about a player, but we should never try to be disrespectful. There's a lot of content creators out there. Shout out to the Panthers, one of the few teams in the league who will actually, in a video, shout out content creators. Now, I don't think C3's been lucky enough to get that yet, but I do mean yes. I think we will in one time at some point.
Well, Pickle, our reactions to drafting Nalo probably wasn't what they were looking for.
It was not.
No, you're right. But we are also, some of them that they shout out are more of the one or two guys talking in a room podcasts. They don't actually show the group as we have fans chatting.
Yeah.
But Mr. Tepper, you don't know what you're missing, brother. You think Mr. Tepper, Dan Morgan, David Canales, anybody from the Panthers or a beat writer, you're welcome to join the Friday Free Fall anytime we're on. Every Friday, brother. Just pop down in that chat and you're welcome to join. But you got to show your face, boss, because Mr. Lack ain't letting no other person in besides his name.
We ain't letting no funny business in here, you know what I'm saying?
So,
look, man.
By the way, my friend, if you really want cheap eggs, go buy you a chicken, put them in your backyard, and get your chicken that way. You might have to watch it, but that's life.
Tell them. All right, man. So listen, if you've been around here for any length of time, we let the brand ambassador close out the free-for-all. These ill skills, my brother from another mother. It wouldn't be a free fall without you, man. Tell me your final thoughts for the show today as we start the weekend, man.
What a great show, Cody. I mean, we maxed out. We had heated discussion. We had fans going crazy about what's going on with these Carolina Panthers on the first week of June. Heading into the 2025 season. I'd say that's a pretty good sign. I'd say that fans are excited. I'd say right now, if you're a fan and you're excited about these Carolina Panthers, you have every single right to be. We haven't lost anything. All we've done is gained in the offseason. We've gotten better here, better there, better in the front office. More synergy, more continuity, all these things, man, the Panthers have done so well in the offseason. Does it translate to the field? We just don't know. We just have to watch the games together. And that's what C3 is all about. That's why this show is here. It's for the fans and by the fans. They open up on Tuesday night, the flagship show, 9 p.m., 252-228-5098. Call in, and you can be on the longest-running Panthers podcast Tuesday night at 9 p.m., or you can hit the link in the description. You can give your opinion here to everyone on the panel and all the fans watching. Shout out to the C3 chat. Shout out to all the C3 super fans and all the people that dropped those C3 love bombs in the chat tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you. This is what we are aiming for, a discussion that travels on about these Carolina Panthers from fans that are excited to see what they're going to do in this next season, and there's no reason not to be excited. Nobody's on here saying we're going to win every game. Nobody's on here saying we're going to win 14 games. We just got different opinions about players and the direction of this team, and that is perfectly fine because that makes you a better, well-rounded Panthers fan. You're going to have some fans say we're going to win 7 or 8 games. You're going to have some fans say we're going to win 5 or 6. You're going to have some fans say we're going to win 10 to 12. And that just makes you understand better going into this season where this Carolina Panthers team is. I want you to join the discussion next week at 7 p.m. on the Friday Free-For-All. Join us. Be a part of the C3 Legion. We had a great space on Monday on X. We run that usually at 6:30 or 7 p.m. We went this time because we had the blueprint, something to talk about, and something to egg us on and give us more reason to cheer for these Carolina Panthers. That's why we're here. That's why you're here, and we appreciate each and every one of you. And I just want you all to know that here at C3, it's where the fans matter.
Amen.
Keep pounding, baby. Let's go.